just a ride. Whoa, oh, it's just a ride.
Fuck your faces.
Wow.
No, that's not how we want to start.
No,
Whoa.
sorry.
We can ride if you want to.
I'm not sorry, actually. I said I'm sorry, and I lied.
He did.
Because your friends don't ride, and if they don't ride, well, they're no
fuck your
friends
face.
of
You.
mine.
I just want to curse a lot.
And we can sing and something else. I don't remember.
We found out
12.
We found out we have quite a significant audience in Australia, so now we want to fucking talk about Australian things.
Yes,
we got dance.
the entire
dance.
episode.
I
that's not them,
shitty
is it?
Australian
Because of that
accent.
episode that we were fucking with the whole Australian stuff.
Yeah.
I listened to Men at Work on my ride up to Pierce.
Yeah.
It was great.
Come from a dun dun
That was
under.
amazing.
I love
Everybody in Australia right now is like, you fucking cunts. There's way better music.
it. Yeah, like have you
Followed
heard
by
of
Talking Heads, which I
Silverchair?
haven't heard.
And fucking Silverchair's rad actually.
They actually were
Thrown-
amazing.
Yeah, and they're still rad actually.
What about
Well, they
hands
broke
like
up a long time ago.
houses? Anybody?
Nobody knows
Just
that but
me?
you. Only
Everybody
you.
knows hands like houses. Come on.
None of the new bands do I know,
they're
and they're probably
fantastic.
20 years old. I don't know them.
Somebody's gonna have my back on this.
I don't know
You better
any
fucking have my
famous-
back on Hands of Houses, or I quit.
Can I ask this?
It's been good working with you, Shaiden. See you, buddy.
Like when I was growing up, I knew all of my parents. For some reason, they taught me all the famous people that they grew up with, and even some of the famous people that they were kids growing up with. Right?
Yeah, my dad too.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I know all the famous people for like 3 generations, and then my kids' generation grows up, and they're like, "We don't know your bands, Dad. We don't know who's Pearl Jam." And it's like, dude, what the? We played it in the car for 100 years. They're
They had
like, "I don't
headphones
know."
on.
You're
They
like,
weren't listening
you're like I
anymore.
thought. I thought that was a punishment.
I know, it's like whatever. No, and it's just strange because now I look at the people that are famous for, and it's just getting older and all that stuff. But you look at, I wonder if my parents didn't know my generation's stuff too in the same way. I'm sure that's probably true, but they probably knew the actors. They're like, "Oh, I saw him in the movie with Harrison Ford. I guess he's fine. That Brad Pitt child, whatever." My dad embraced it. But now I'm looking at these people and I'm like, I have no idea who fucking 99% of the people on the Tonight Show are that are getting interviewed by.
The Tonight Show's still on.
Yeah,
Or,
who
whatever.
watches the fucking?
Well, whatever. Fucking Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, whoever's on those shows. I'm
I don't like
have
either one of those
No
guys.
idea who you're interviewing, but they're like,
Conan's all right though. I can get down on
He's-
Conan O'Brien. He's okay.
he's good. I like him.
Yeah, you're going to go down on Conan O'Brien? Is that what I heard?
Might.
I think that's what he said.
He's a good-looking guy. He's
what
got a
episode-
tall forehead like I do.
What episode is this anyway?
I don't know. This is episode 27.
27?
This is the Mike Trout. I believe this is Mike Trout,
No, I veto that.
or it's the 2.7. What's your 2.7?
This
2.7, there
This
you go.
is hey, that's a good one.
Yeah.
2.7. I like. Marvel Deadpool issue.
Oh, for fuck me sake!
Number
I'm gonna
number
go
27.
Nerd
I got to
down.
put up with your guys' sports bullshit. You will sit here. and you will
Deadpool's the only
listen.
one that I like because he was the anti-superhero,
Right.
so I'll
So
give you that.
He'll take that. He's
Deadpool-
giving you a thing.
Deadpool issue number 27 has a Guinness World Record for the most comic book characters on one cover.
Really?
Fucking yeah.
Are those all the fools that he killed?
Probably.
I don't know anything.
Okay, how about this
Deadpool.
one? You guys don't like that one? There's 27 cubes in a Rubik's Cube.
Fucking, I'm taking that. I'll take that. That's nerd
I like
better.
that.
That,
I like
that a
that.
little better? You know
Yeah.
that? What about John Steinbeck?
What about John
Steinbeck?
Steinbeck?
He was born on February 27th, and he wrote 27 books,
I would never have guessed
including Of Mice and Men.
that. It would have taken right. I would have not guessed that one for 27 at all.
Mm-hmm. Bruce Lee was born on November 27th.
Fuck yeah! I've been to his gravesite. Have you guys?
One of the times I got married was on the 27th.
Just one of-
Didn't fucking work out.
Also on November 27th, Queen's Somebody to Love was released.
Somebody.
To love me.
That was me singing.
What
but-
about Jeff? You'll probably like this one. Eddie Izzard ran 27 marathons in 27 days.
That's pretty fucking impressive.
Right.
dude?
But not as impressive as the Iron Cowboy.
Not as impressive
Eddie
as
Izzard, the
this
comedian?
Dick. Sorry.
Eddie Izzard, the comedian.
I'll see myself out. I can't answer that. I'm reading facts off of a
Eddie
website,
Izzard.
so they're
Okay.
obviously true.
Oh yeah. I'm thinking Eddie Izzard, like the stand-up comedian from England, and that means he might have been wearing a dress or high heels, and that's super impressive.
Wow,
'cause
that'd be
that's how
rad.
it rolls. But I might be messed up with the names and all that stuff. Well, welcome to Jar 27. I'm the fucking Peebah.
I am still the Poobah.
Still the
I'm
Poobah.
still Bear.
and still Bear.
bear.
You know, of
I don't
three
understand the Ba
contrarians,
part.
because the Ba signifies that
get
you
it.
wear a silly hat and that you're in charge of the little.
This happens to be a sweet hat.
It is a sweet hat, so you can't really be a Ba. This is a silly hat that I'm wearing.
We're kind of all wearing Sweet hats.
Yeah.
It's a hat day.
Everybody
got
put
my
some
time
effort
sucked
into their headgear today.
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
It's because God has made it so I must do so.
Yeah, it's mostly because it's
or
cold outside, and if I take my head off, my head will freeze.
Baby, it's cold outside.
It is fucking
You can't
cold
sing that anymore. Apparently.
I can do what the fuck I want.
Yes, you
Because
can.
I live on the earth.
Absolutely.
I also live here. All right, the Mike Trout episode. We're not going to talk about Mike Trout. But we do want to say, we want to do a couple of Would You Rathers before we get to our normal show.
Getting into the deep end of the pool right off the bat.
And I also have a couple things that I didn't run by you guys that I'm going to throw at you here, too. So
Fantastic.
Yeah, why not?
Surprises in life. How weird.
I like a surprises.
Okay. I'll toss out a few Would You Rathers for you gentlemen.
You're going to have to take it with us. And how dirty are these going to be? It's going to be dirty. I don't want to...
No, I'm not leaning for dirty ones. I went looking. I scoured the internet for difficult ones. Like I wanted ones that aren't like, obviously that. Like I want some good.
Like, let's make Zach look more like a moron than he already does.
I feel like
from a
that's
day-to-day.
that's the essence of a good Would You Rather. Right? It has to be
So
a
it's
really
not.
hard.
This isn't gonna be
choice.
like you got to marry one, kill one, fuck one.
No,
It's definitely not that.
Gotcha.
No, I'd just kill them all.
Kill him all. He was just Metallica 1983.
Okay.
82? 81. 82. 81. Help me out. No live toe leather.
Zach's he's just.
I have not slept a lot this week, but I'm loving it. I did this to myself, and I'm loving it this week.
All right.
But I am fucking stupid as hell.
Would you rather know the date of your death or the cause of your death?
Ooh.
The cause.
If you had to know one.
The cause.
Why? Because you try and circumvent it.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right.
But it's written in stone.
I'd want the date.
What if you were going to die of
I already know how I'm going to die.
horrible renal failure?
I know how I
you're
want
gonna
to
be
die,
bear
and I know
poop.
how I'm going to die.
Jeff will be bear poop.
I want a bear fight, but I'm going to trip on my cat, put it on my socks, hit my head on the cat, get a concussion, and die.
Okay, can I throw this real quick? Every time something like that comes up, and I know it's O.J. Simpson, and sorry to his mama and everyone's mamas, but the scene in Naked Gun where he... have you seen Naked Gun?
It's been so long.
Either
ago.
of you seen Naked Gun?
I've seen it, but it was many, many moons ago.
There's just a scene where he hits his head and smack. I mean, there's two scenes where he just gets. I think the whole point of his character is he just gets fucked up by his environment. So he steps in a bear trap and gets his hand burned. But the one that they do, he's like in a cabin or like on a pier or something like that. He's in a room. It's the fucking best of those kind of physical comedies. And whenever anybody does that, I just think of O.J. Simpson of all people, but just with his hand on a fucking burning iron and then stepping in a bear trap and all these fucking over the top. Sorry. I know some other people think like I do. One or two of you is like, yeah, dude, fucking I saw O.J. too. Anyway. I don't know. Back to the Would You Rather.
Yeah. What about you, Zach?
What the fuck was it again? I don't remember. I want to know the date. I'd like to know the countdown. I'm that kind of cunt.
You want to know the date, not the how?
I don't care how. Yeah, I don't care.
I'm with you because if I know,
I'd want to circumvent.
If I
it.
know the date, I know
Not
exactly
stressed
how
about
much time I have left to get my shit done.
Yep.
Then I will plan accordingly.
And I would just I'd get all my work that I've done in my life and I'd try and organize it and I'd be
Be
like,
my luck, I'd be like, that's today's date. Fuck.
exactly. That would be kind of weird. Like, yeah, let me know. And it's like this next week.
You pull up the app, and then it gives
Right,
you the time that you're going to die.
Oh, really?
Or the date that you're going to die, the exact time that you're going to die.
I don't know. How come you don't want to know the exact time?
Because I want to live like I'm dying every day and just go do cool shit all the time.
And so it could be coming at any point. That's a good call.
Yeah. So if I actually know, then I can, I don't know.
That takes
makes
away
life
the
less
stoicism.
exciting.
Yeah, it does. Makes it. Well, you could lean into stoicism, I guess, too. All right. What did you say? You said same. You want to know the date.
I want to know the date. Yeah.
All right.
If I have to choose.
2 against 1, you lose, Jeff. Empirically, you lose through democracy. See how that works?
All right, that's -1 points for Jeff.
-5 Angus bucks.
Would you rather be the person who flips the switch during executions or the judge who decides who should be executed?
I want to flip the switch.
Oh fuck.
Well, and then here's why. And this is actually sorry. Can I say the why?
You say all the things.
All right. So
No, you can't explain yourself. You just have to
let us condemn you for a couple sentences.
Well, when they do executions, like even let's say lethal injection, it's all set up by machine. So they have 3 people pushing buttons at the same time, so they don't have to live with the guilt of actually being the one that pushed the button.
So there's 3 people that push the button together.
What, are
and
like
they don't
2 out
know.
of 3 of them not hooked up to it?
Exactly.
everywhere? They do that all over the place?
That's pretty common. Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, we don't shoot people to death anymore.
Right, or any of that stuff.
Yeah. Electric chair, same kind of thing. 3 people pulling levers, only one of the levers.
That kind of sucks.
works.
I feel like somebody should take responsibility.
Well, the fact is, you're going to, if you're one of the 3, you're going to feel as though you did it anyway. I guess you could have some weird cognitive distance of like, well, it wasn't me. It was fucking Bill. Bill did it.
Right.
Bill's the killer, not me.
Right.
But when you've had to kill people,
but if
at some point
job,
you're like, it's, you know, I mean, it is
job,
what it is.
I just feel like the
Signed up for it.
executioner is such an interesting archetype, you know? Like, it's totally an archetypal character. All fantasy shit, anything, has got a fucking headsman or something.
Oh, yeah,
you
for
know,
sure.
Like the guy, like Sir
Ilan
Payne in fucking Game of Thrones, for all you other fellow nerds out there. He's just like, he didn't have a tongue either, so he couldn't talk. He's just this grouchy fucking tongueless.
They didn't. If they didn't have that position for him, what would he do besides that? It's like, what other job would Ilan Payne do?
What? Who? What?
The
We're
executioner.
talking about Game of Thrones.
He's talking about the arc.
Absolutely, I know all about that.
I knew you'd have
He's talking
thoughts.
about. I didn't know. I've never seen it either. He's talking about the archetype, the kind of person that would be an executioner back in the day. Like what kind of position would
So you
they
had
have
to
in
turn
the village
him somewhat.
besides?
You had to turn him somewhat into a monster.
Where else do you put him?
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, but you're saying, you know, I think I'd be
Yeah, it's Bill that you see at the grocery store. That's who does it.
right. No
Yeah,
shit.
just a normal dude.
Yeah.
Just like the most vanilla dude you can possibly find.
He's at Home Depot showing you how to. This is the right lumber you'll want. He's like, I want to cut your fucking head off, bitch.
He like sets aside his scientific calculator and comes up there with a fucking pocket protector. He's just like, okay, it's just a tough day at the office, honey.
What would you do? Who would you prefer to be? The judge or the executioner?
That's a tough call, because I feel like if I was the judge and I sentenced somebody to death, I would already be responsible for it. So I feel like I should be the one to do it.
We can't be Judge Dredd. This isn't part of the...
Yeah, I would rather kill my own meat than contract other people to do it for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's just taking responsibility for the decision. I feel like as a judge,
You're not supposed to eat
as a
him.
judge, you would take it a lot better or a lot more seriously if everybody that you sentenced to death, you had to end them.
I don't think you should eat the guy.
But you can.
You're right. You're right.
Reduce,
Semantics.
reuse, recycle.
I mean, let's get some use out of this.
Soylent Green is us, remember. Sorry.
I guess I'd choose judge.
Judge?
Yeah.
Okay. Fucking A. I think I wouldn't want to be a judge just because you'd have to deal with a lot of fucking lawyers and shitty folk and have to listen to bullshit every fucking day. So just
you
give
have
me an
immunity,
accident.
so it really doesn't fucking matter what you decide.
True, but you have to listen to them. You have to listen to people's bullshit.
No, they got a chambers. They
Lie
just
to
go
you.
to the chambers.
But don't you have to listen to lawyers talk?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so all of that sounds like such a turnoff that I'd just rather get my hands dirty and cut a guy's fucking head off.
Perfect.
Fucking or flip the switch. But I don't want either. Fuck all that shit. Can I just
No,
not
you
be
have
part
to
of the
choose.
world?
This is would you rather.
I think
You have to choose.
every time more and more that we do these shows, I want to move out into the woods like Jeff. Just as long as I can have nice internet. I just want nice internet in the woods and I'll be fucking happy. Give me nice internets in the woods.
That kind of defeats the purpose of moving.
No, quit saying shit like that. I just want squirrels for neighbors. That's the purpose.
Well, you don't
I
leave
can
the
have
house, so
internet.
you could actually get a house in the woods and have that.
Right?
So that's possible. That's a reality for you.
I just want a little complex where my band lives, if that's cool with my band.
Cool. So are you judging people or killing them?
I already said, didn't I?
Yeah.
I'm killing them.
He's killing them. We're all killing them.
I don't want to be a judge
Well,
only
you're
because
doing
it's
both.
annoying.
I just
You picked
wanted
both still for some reason.
No, I picked judge.
He picked
Okay.
judge, yeah. He's a judge.
See, none of us really listens to
We're
each
not
other.
listening. We're waiting for each other to stop talking so we can talk.
All right.
Fucking idiots.
Here's one a little more far out.
All right.
Would you rather fight a chicken to death every time you get into a car, or fight an orangutan to the death once a year, but you get a sword?
Ooh, I think I heard this on Is We Dumb. I think oh fuck, I don't know what they said.
Doesn't matter. This is our show.
I know, of course, it doesn't matter. I want to hear what you guys think. I'm not fighting chickens every fucking day. Every time I get in my car, I'm just not doing that.
So I put
I would train an hour a day to fight that orangutan with a sword. And the orangutan gets a sword, or I get a sword.
It just says you get a sword.
Oh, I get a sword. Fuck yeah.
He's an orangutan, dude. He'll just rip your arms off.
True, but
I'd rather fight the chicken. That's a quick fight every time.
No, once a year.
Just twist its
I
little
put a
head.
chicken in a guy's patrol car one time. That was pretty awesome.
How big is this? Did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Such a good prank.
It had been in there for a really long time.
Oh,
it shit all over his car, which made it even better.
Oh, he didn't have to clean it though, right?
Fuck yeah, he did.
Did he? He had to clean his own car?
Yeah,
Shit.
it's his car.
Is that how it goes? You guys don't have a special service that cleans?
Those are
the
called
details?
criminal helpers, and I don't want them in that portion of my car.
Fair enough. All right.
Okay, so Jeff takes chickens. Zach's leaning towards orangutan.
I'm training every day.
And that's lunch every day, just given to you. All you got to do is kill it.
The only reason is because I love my
food
wife,
already.
and she loves our chickens, and then I think of chickens that are ours, and my wife crying, so I'd have to fight an orangutan.
Well, she's talking about the chickens being cold outside. The best place you can warm them up, in the oven.
No, fuck. You're right. I mean, it's not the best place for their practical purposes, and not
Best
her
place
crying.
for that baked-in flavor.
It's best for the smell of deliciousness. All right, what about you?
I see the logic in your position, Jeff. I thought about that too. I was like,
It's an easy fight.
Fucking free food every day, and my life's not in danger.
That does make
You
sense.
can
Okay,
kill
yeah,
a
free
chicken
food every day.
and
You're
clean
right.
that thing. You can just stand on their wings and you pull them by the feet. I mean, you can gut them and clean them in a
Think how
matter of
sick you'd
3
be of
minutes.
chicken. You'd be so sick of chicken.
You know how
after.
much chicken I eat as it is?
Well, that's fair. That's true. You are a chicken machine. You'd probably want more chicken.
You can flavor it so many different
still
ways.
buy chicken.
It really doesn't fucking matter.
This isn't every day. This is every time you get in your car.
Yeah.
I'm
So
okay with that.
If you're just like in and out of your car, you could fucking feed a whole goddamn village. You really should take the chicken option.
It'll force you to structure your life.
And you'll go to the grocery store instead of sending some poor cunt to do it for you.
Throwback to last week. Yeah. During your professional career, that would be a hilarious thing for you, though. Like every time you got in and out of your patrol car, you just come home with an entire trunk full of dead chickens every day.
You can't eat that many chickens.
I mean, I can't imagine. I never did count like how many times I got in and out of a car in a day,
man,
but
shit.
some days probably upwards of 70, 80 times.
I was going to say, it's got to be approaching 100 a lot of the time.
Yeah. Those are pretty good springs and fucking.
There's a reason my hips are fucked. Yeah.
Yeah. No shit. The car.
He's got a sidearm on one hip and a pellet gun on the other hip every time.
Well, it
he
doesn't
opens his
say
car.
how I have to kill him either. I can start shooting in my car every time I go in.
This one's for the chicken. This one's for the
No
side
one
of
would
the-
fuck with you, especially if you didn't explain why you're doing that. Just every time you open your car door, just pellet gun. Just making sure.
Fuck. That would be fun.
So I'm leaning towards chicken. The only reason I considered the orangutan was because that's kind of badass. Like,
It's because you want a fucking sword. You
Like,
gotta
what
be
a cool
nerd.
story, though. It's like, well, yeah, once
The
a
odds
year.
are you're getting killed.
Once a year, you're definitely going to die.
Yeah.
Dude. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That
Like,
25-foot
that's
rule
like-
doesn't even work with an orangutan.
I mean, you got like one swing at its neck.
You got one shot.
With the sword. But how big is the sword? That's what I was thinking. It's like it's a big broadsword and you get one swing.
I'd be training with the most badass Miyamoto Musashi style fucking modern day samurai on just quick draw techniques, because that's only you're only going to get one of these.
Yeah.
That's it.
But you still
Rips
You
your
miss
fucking
that?
arms off and beats you to death.
Like, if you stab him, he's not just going to go fall over dead all of a sudden. He's still got a lot of fight in him before he bleeds
No,
out.
that's what I mean. You got
Yeah.
a quick draw, chop his head off.
That's why
That's the only way.
I chose poorly. I did. I chose my death after a year. Or for the first year, it's death.
I'd come though. I'd come and support you.
Oh, okay. I
I
thought
thought you
somewhere
meant you were
else.
going to like jerk
On
off.
my
there.
grave.
I might do that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or on a puppy, like last week. All right.
I've been waiting for gladiatorial events to come back for a long time, dude.
Fucking A. America would pay-per-view the shit out of that. It would be the most watched thing of all time. Now might be a good time to bring
Listen,
back
if we're
wrestling.
sentencing people to death anyway, like,
They're losing their shit over people getting shot with guns. They are not going to promote sword fights.
You're right. Some would. Some society.
Well, I'm not saying I wouldn't
there's
watch
many
it.
Americas. There are
But,
many.
I'm not against,
I mean,
Yeah.
you remember Running Man, the book by Stephen King, and then the movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Again, this sounds like sci-fi shit.
It is sci-fi shit, but it's Arnold's. You don't know all the Arnold movies by heart? Okay.
No, just because he's a big muscly guy doesn't
God
mean
damn
I thought
it.
he was amazing.
All right, well, anyway.
I mean, I'm impressed with how he came to America and did cool shit, but I didn't necessarily promote all his movies.
The Running Man was the idea of a game show that was America's most popular show in the future, where they let a couple criminals run through a gauntlet of like American gladiators, but with chainsaws kind of thing. And so if they survived the gauntlet, they got their freedom. But nobody ever survived. Yeah. That would be pay-per-view fucking gold. And it's weird to think that for sure would be like in half of the households in America, or like a third or a quarter or some shit.
Well, on last Sunday we were talking about somehow we got talking about horror flicks, the first horror flick that we saw. But yeah, like Faces of Death. You remember when that shit came out? It was like the most disgusting stuff you could see. Yep. You know, when you're in third grade, it's pretty intriguing.
I can't believe it's third grade. I'm in junior high school, and he's like, yeah, I was having sex in fucking fourth grade. Faces of Death in third grade. Paid a mortgage off in first grade.
That's what happens when you hang out with Brother Speed, dude.
Fucking wow. Goddamn, Grant. Pay attention to your kid. What the fuck are you doing, bro? Working too hard, bro.
It was a different time.
I know. Respect. It's all
right.
good.
You guys want one more?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay. Let's do this one. Would you rather have thought bubbles appear over your head for everyone to see?
Nope.
Or for everyone you know to have access to your search history forever?
Oh yeah, that's that one. Wow.
I'm pretty open about. Well, I don't have a filter to stop what's coming out of my mouth.
Yeah,
as I'm thinking,
it wouldn't give us much extra.
Really doesn't matter. But everybody pretty much knows what my search history would be anyway. So
Jeff's thought bubbles are just constantly his speech bubbles. Like,
it's like I'm texting as I'm talking.
it's just for the deaf people. Just for the deaf folks. Jeff's courteous like that.
I don't want the thought bubbles for people to see.
Dude, I would be stoned in the town square if people could see everything.
I'm on your
Not
team.
Not to mention,
with that,
if thought bubbles could keep up with the speed of the bullshit that's firing back and forth in my head, I don't know if people would be able to read them anyway.
They'd be like, that's too much TLDR.
Given time, I've got 15 different voices. Fucking, it's like Canadian Parliament meetings in there, dude.
Same,
Mr.
obviously.
Speaker. I'm like, everybody shut up.
I'm glad you feel that way too. I always think of it, like I said, I think I've said this before too. It's a big table of fucking personality traits in my dumb head, and they all just talk over each other, and it's ridiculous. And it's at the speed of light too. It's like never actual sentences. It's just and I know I'm like, oh god, no one agrees. It's a mess.
Yeah, fuck it. I'd rather have the thought bubbles.
Yep.
I'll go for the thought bubbles, yeah, because it's like a litmus test. If everybody can see what I'm thinking and they still decide to be my friend, then I know I've got we're ride or die at that point, baby.
Fair. I forgot, what was the other one?
It was have access to your search history forever.
My search history is just not, I mean, if it's not really that crazy. It's really not. I work for TimeSuck, and you could look up all that crazy shit.
I mean, with search history, I went automatically to Pornhub.
Porn, yeah.
That's the only thing I've really got a search history on.
And it's not. And it's nothing crazy.
You fucking noobs. I searched some outlandish shit on the internet.
I just don't think that anybody will judge me that harsh over it. They'll be like, yeah, that's kind of interesting. What a weirdo, but that's pretty interesting.
I gotta give Jim, my NSA agent, something to do.
Earn that money, bitch.
Hi, Jim, by the way.
Yeah, right. Gotta say hi. All right, well, fuck. I think it's time for Prison Pocket. It's actually what Shaiden and I like to sing.
Whoa. Stand down, soldier. There'll be no prison pocketing here today, sir.
I was speaking of NSA, it's time for Prison Pockets. But it's actually time for a police story.
Police stories. Police stories. Getchell.
Okay, you ready?
Police.
I think that was our best one so far.
So, Prison Pocket. For those of you who don't know, that is your butthole. And the cavity within.
It's the pocket you were born with, like a kangaroo.
But I poop from there.
Yeah, and you can also conceal amazing things.
Not if you want to keep your shit.
In that prison pocket. So, made a traffic stop on a car, and as I'm coming up to the car, I'm noticing the guy's moving a lot, which normally is is he grabbing a weapon? What's he doing? Excuse me, I got a cough.
Jeff's coughing.
Let's try that again.
He turned his head and coughed.
Yeah. And nobody raw dogged me. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
We've grown in our level of self-restraint.
I was going to get up, but I'm tired.
Yeah.
That's all.
I'm not saying it didn't cross my mind.
Yeah, it looked pretty good from over here. He's wearing jeans. It looks nice.
I stopped this vehicle. I'm walking up to the car, and this guy's just furtive movement everywhere. And that's, oh shit, what's he doing? Grab him for a weapon, hiding dope, whatever. It could be 1,000 things, but usually you go into the safety issue first. So I kind of speed up to the car a little, pop my light on, see what he's doing. And I get up there, and the dude's pants are down to his ankles, pants and underwear, and he's got his hand just buried down in his crotch. So I pop my gun. I'm like, show me your fucking hands. And he pulls them out. And he's like, I was just masturbating in peace one last time. So I've got stories about that too. But the dude pops out, and all I see is this red ball. I'm like, what the fuck is that? And he's like, dude, I got a warrant, and this is a balloon. I'm like, well, what are you doing with that? And he holds it out in his hand.
Make me a balloon animal?
He's like, here's the deal. I'm going to go away for a long time. I've been carrying this balloon around for months. It had pills, it had chew, it had matches, it had tinfoil, it had lube. I don't know why he had the lube on the inside. Well, it's probably the jerk. I don't know why he brought his lube. You can use butter for that when you're in prison. That's why they give you pats of butter.
Essentially, he had prison currency. He had a prison go bag.
He had a
prison go bag.
Yeah, bug out bag.
Yeah, he had a bug out bag for his butthole. And his whole plan was, and he explained this to me, I just figured when I knew I was going to go, I was just going to shove the balloon up my ass so I can get into the jail. He's like, what I forgot about was the pucker factor. He's like, I tried so hard to shove it. I was trying to shove it at my ass so fast, but I just couldn't get it in there. I was too nervous, and I couldn't relax. And so
she took some of that lube out and tried again.
I'm like, well, use the lube.
Yeah. Like,
he's like, well, I was going to bring that into jail, and that's when I explained, I'm like, have you not heard of a pat of butter? That's
waste.
What it's for.
What a waste.
Yeah. So.
Oh man,
and pretty simple
poor guy.
story.
He put in so much thought to that too.
Yeah. And I was
you just took that away.
And people forget when you get stopped by the police. There's that, we call it the tent factor. I mean, your asshole puckers so tight that you make a tent in your seat.
Imagine.
You get so nervous. There's no way he's going to get that in there. So I gave him an A for effort.
Some people do though, right? Some people manage to get past the pucker.
They tend to have it in there already. They just carry it in there normally.
Oh,
I had the dude that had the vibrator in his ass, and I didn't know it. Obviously, I didn't know he had a vibrator in his ass.
Right.
But I had found, we were searching his car, incident to arrest, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? I thought it was like some little mechanism maybe, because there's a lot of trap doors and stuff that run by remote control. So
you were buzzing his ass.
Yeah, I'm playing with this thing, and I was. And then he's screaming in the back of my car. I'm like, what is your fucking problem? He's like, stop doing what you're doing. I'm like, why? He's like, I got a vibrator in my ass. That's the control. I'm like, oh, great. So I turned it all the way up and threw it in my front seat and went back searching his car.
I'm playing with this the whole way.
Welcome to your nightmare, sir.
What the hell? That's like, yeah, that's the remote to my shock collar. Please don't play with it. Okay.
Yeah. Damn. Well, fucking A.
Well, I give this dude an A for effort, but a C+ for dedication, because if he was really
he was dedicated, it just didn't work.
No. If he was really dedicated to this idea, he'd have already preemptively had it up there every day.
Every time he travels.
Right. And there are people that are that way.
Yeah.
That's just where they carry stuff and things.
I don't understand. Like, okay, you carry stuff and things in there.
You got more room for your cell phone in your pocket.
Oh, God, no.
But how do you? What happens when you actually have to use your butthole for the means and purposes that it is for?
Well,
you just
you mean getting fucked?
Like shit. Also yes.
Pooping, Jeff. Pooping.
Yeah. If you want to get fucked in the ass, do you just move to the side, or
you got to push that out first?
I mean, what do you do with the shovel or whatever, or the matches?
Set it off to the side. Public bathrooms, people. Public bathrooms.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah, you would just have to push it out, set it off to the side, do your thing. You got more room to put it back in there.
I don't know. I really had to go, so I went to the McDonald's and I have pink eye now. I don't know what the
exactly. What's with the pink eye? I don't get it.
You know what the blue lights are for in the bathrooms now, right? The idea is that you're not supposed to be able to see your veins to shoot up in the bathrooms.
Really?
Yeah, like go to any Walgreens, any McDonald's, it's all blue lights in the bathrooms.
We are dirty motherfuckers.
I don't know. I don't shoot up.
We should try it for science.
I've never really asked anybody.
You should try it so we can write better songs. Remember? That's the fucking... Call back to 3 episodes ago. All right. Well, that was Prison Pockets. That's my favorite title of anything, and that's pretty close to my favorite story so far, too.
That's because you like Hot Pockets.
I did. Hot Pockets. Prison Pockets. Butthole Pocket.
That has to have been done by somebody, right?
The Prison Pocket song as a theme song.
Yeah.
No
So, and then the girls that have the prison purse as well, so they can carry twice as much shit, just like they do when they go out.
Right.
Yeah.
But I would say the prison's probably prepared for these kind of things. They know that things are going up people's buttholes and...
Well, yeah. If you're getting arrested on a felony, then you have to do the squat and cough. But if you just get arrested on a misdemeanor, they don't do that unless there's evidence of them carrying that. I mean, I had a gal one time on the side of the road. It was weather about like today, about whatever,
fucking cold,
colder than horse heart.
-6 degrees. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was acting nervous, and I just took a guess, and I'm like, "Give me your dope." So I don't have any. I'm like, I know where it is. Don't make me have to get someone to come get it. Just give it to me. We had this little stare off for a while.
We'll bring the jaws of life, bitch.
She's finally, she's like, fine. Squats down with the dress on the middle of the road, hands me this bag of meth. I'm like, give me the rest. Pops out pops out her glass pipe. Here you go.
A glass pipe
and then my buddy and I, we had to Rochambeau over who was going to have to test it.
I've read that it's very clean.
What's very clean? The dog's mouth?
The vagina?
Yeah.
That's okay.
Why are you guys looking back? I'm crazy.
I don't...
From time to time, I'm sure it is.
Okay, well, there's more to this story.
It's like my butthole.
Look, right after I
wash it.
I had her drop it. It was so cold. I had her drop it into this big plastic bag. It was, it was all wrapped up in like cellophane. Gooey. Drops it into the bag. I close it up, and within 30 seconds, there was just all this kind of dewy stuff on the inside of my bag. It was getting condensation, so because it was so cold outside, and obviously so humanly hot.
Prison Pocket.
Yeah. And by the way, I lost the Rochambeau, and I did have to test that.
I hope that bag sits in evidence to this day, still sealed and untouched.
Yeah. Well, he touched it with his hands, so don't touch him. Don't let him touch you, because he touched it.
Yeah,
he had to test it. Look, he admitted it.
Speaking of pink eye. Well, thanks, Jeff. Police stories.
Gonna get you, bad boy.
All right. Top 3 movies all time. That's what I have for you guys. I know I didn't ask about this. I didn't say...
Top 3 movies, man. I don't like this choosing my favorite children's shit.
Pick it.
Top 3 movies.
Ever?
Gives us a goddamn window into your goddamn brain. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. They're terrible. Window us.
Do you need time? I got
Yeah, I do. This is awful.
All right, Jeff's good at this, apparently. I didn't know this about you.
True Romance.
Jeff's only seen like 8 movies.
That's actually not too.
He sees like way more than me about... he comes up with all these things that no one's ever seen. Like, what?
True Romance, Peter Butter Falcon, and what would be my last one? Well, American Sniper.
American Sniper.
Probably my three
Three
ones that I like to watch on repeat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Peanut Butter
You've seen
Falcon,
most.
huh? I wanted to watch
amazing
that.
movie.
I haven't seen it yet, though.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to check that one out.
All right.
I still can't decide. What about you, Zach?
Fuck. I don't even like movies. I don't even know why I asked this question. Favorite movies of all time? I don't even know. No, I really don't know.
This is hard.
Shawshank Redemption inspired me to want to write stories like that, where it was just like, fuck, that's the greatest thing ever. It's kind of cliche, but I really like Tarantino because he taught me that you can fucking make a movie around dialogue, and I was like, not that I make movies or whatever, but I do dialogue, and I loved that. And cinematography, like all of this stuff. Honestly, Star Wars is kind of a cheesy thing to say, but I like the idea of movies that are made to look like comic books. Every shot looks like a comic book, and Star Wars kind of did that for me. So, Seven Samurais, Citizen Kane. What are the other best? Maltese Falcon. Those are the ones you're supposed to say if you like movies. No, I don't know.
So I feel like you just picked like 12. How many movies was that?
I like Titan AE.
Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
High five for
Fuck
you
yeah.
for that.
I don't even know. Something like that. Some of those movies were probably it, but I'm not going to remember them, and I don't know why I asked this.
Okay. I'm going to go with Treasure Planet.
Ooh.
Because it was just horribly underrated and has a really interesting backstory. if you don't know the deal with.
I don't know that. I don't.
I'm gonna go with Cloud Atlas. Rare instance where I felt the movie was better than the book. And
that's what I thought about Passion of the Christ, actually.
Canceled. And
much less of a slog, I would say. You just got a slog through that book.
And fuck, I had a third one picked out. I was very The Gentleman.
The Gentleman. I don't know if I've heard that one or seen that one.
Yeah, it's a Guy Ritchie film.
Oh, okay.
I really like Guy Ritchie movies. It's one of those things. You either like Guy Ritchie movies or
I do like Guy Ritchie movies.
It's a newer. It's not new, but it's a newer one.
He's the Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, right?
Choke and Rock and Rolla.
Snatch.
Yeah. That's actually a good movie.
Yeah, I liked that one.
Yeah.
I like Snatch, too. That was good.
I just watched that the other day.
I think Rock and Rolla was my favorite Guy Ritchie film before I saw The Gentleman. The Gentleman was better. It's really, really good.
Yeah, The Gentleman, the one where he's trying to scam this woman and she's trying to scam him too. Is that what The Gentleman is? Mm-mm. They're older? No? Okay. Nope. Maybe that's The Liar or something like that. Anyway.
Yeah. No, The Gentleman's good. I'm not going to describe it at all because that movie's just best watched with just go into it for the ride.
I'm intrigued now.
You won't regret it. It's really good.
Is it on the Netflix?
You'd like it, Jeff. I think it might be.
Yeah. Maybe I'll check it out tonight if I'm still awake.
Yeah,
Return of the King. Sorry.
It's good. Return of the King, yeah.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I was trying to avoid the obvious picks.
I know, that's what I was trying to do too. It's like, I really don't know what even movies I like anymore. Because it's like, I liked a bunch of movies as a kid. I mean, I'd say Karate Kid, like, when I was a little kid. I memorized that movie, or Indiana Jones or some shit. Yeah. I love movies, I guess, but now I don't. I watch more TV shows now. I want 20-minute, 25-minute, 30-minute, like, snippets of shit, and not a 2-hour, 3-hour commitment, I guess. Unless it's podcasts and just ride.
Until this weekend, Polly had never seen Back to the Future, and I hadn't watched it probably since it came out. What a fucking awesome movie. That movie is very cleverly done.
Yeah.
It really was a good movie.
Still got some hold-up stuff to it, minus the dates and stuff, but it's still really good.
It was a good movie. Yeah. And so now I promised her that we'll watch number 2 and number 3. I told her that I think there was 7, so she's thinking there's 7 movies coming.
I don't think there's 7.
There's not. There's 3.
It's not fucking Avatar, bro.
2 and 3 weren't as good as the first one.
They sucked.
Yeah.
I don't think
there's parts that were good.
I don't think I ever saw 3. 2 was good.
The idea of a fucking almanac, it's just the greedy cunt in me is like, oh god, that'd be great. Why not just having fun like that? Well, and
I realized
spent it all on the Raiders.
Doc had made a comment about that at the start of number 1 that I had not caught before. Of course, seeing number 2 now, I mean, I knew that was a thing that happened, but he actually brings it up in number 1.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
I want to give an honorable mention to The Finest Hours also. That movie is really, really good. And it's a true story. Well, at least based upon a true story.
If we saw a list of movies in front of us, we'd be like, oh, and that one, and that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I have 100 favorite movies, but the ones that I named actually are some that are pretty
pretty good
near and dear to my heart.
He's pulling that shit out pretty good. All right, top 3 places on the earth you'd like to visit. And then we'll be done with the goddamn top 3
Jeff's
shit.
ass.
Besides Jeff's ass. I mean, that's pretty much the mission statement.
I charge rent.
I'm just trying to stick with the theme we've established here
Just
today.
ride into Jeff's ass.
Everybody wants... They're coming after my genitals.
Be gentle with his genitals.
Spoiler alert, they're not so gentle.
No. He's bear for a lot of reasons. Kind of a grizzly motherfucker.
I don't know if I can name 3 places that I want to go.
Okay.
I mean, I go to one all the time. I mean, Pierce, Idaho is my Mecca. I mean,
AKA heaven.
I mean, that's the city, but the Bitterroot Mountains are what I call God's country for sure.
Okay.
But whatever God is. Scotland, because it just looks cool. It's drizzly and rainy, but I want to go.
You want to go to dripply old Scotland.
But I want to, go.
I don't think you'd like their government.
Go shoot a red stag.
I don't think you'd like the way they handle it.
That'd be pretty cool.
Ooh. You want to go to a place so you can murder one of its animals?
Yeah, I want to go. I want to go places where I can kill cool stuff and harvest and eat them.
Shut your face. Let them kill their animals in peace and happily.
Circle of life.
You're not. You're just like a fucking. You're like the queue. You're like the little thing in the queue that just comes in the circle and says, "Fuck it, I'm the circle,
dude,
and I'm killing the circle."
I've never been to Alaska.
When you said that I'm like the queue, my brain went straight Star Trek, and I was like, "Thank you."
And other people were like, he's into QAnon.
Yeah. Fuck.
All right. I forgot what the fuck I was talking about. So where else? Scotland?
And just...
You can't say Pierce.
In the America. Alaska.
Alaska? Yeah. Scotland, Alaska. Got one more. Give me a stretch.
Pierce is...
The third one?
The place that I haven't been, though, I guess, is what we're talking about.
I guess so.
I don't know, maybe Africa. Somewhere in Africa.
Okay. Go kill it because you want to kill.
Because I want to go kill some shit.
Okay.
Yeah. And, see what it tastes like.
That's fair. A lot of people feel that way. And it costs a lot of money for you to do that, so then it helps conservation. And that money does go to conservation. How about Shaiden? Where would you like to travel?
I would like to go to the Sedlec Ossuary. It is a cathedral that is decorated entirely with bones.
Dude.
Yeah. No, that sounds pretty cool.
Look up pictures of it. SEDLEC.
I've seen that. I believe.
Sedlec Ossuary.
Yeah.
They got
chandeliers
whole
and
chandeliers
shit. Yeah.
and walls that are just skulls. And I don't want you to read into this too much as it concerns me and my character, but that's just cool, man. The amount of time and care that was taken to fucking put that shit together is wild.
It's like Blair Witch on steroids.
I'd like to see it. It doesn't look creepy to me. It looks very respectful.
Somewhere in the middle.
A lot of people don't agree, but I feel I'm like, dude, they took those people's remains, preserved them, and turned them into art.
No, that actually sounds pretty amazing.
It is.
Dope.
But somewhere in the middle of it, somebody was like, is this creepy? As they're stacking skulls and breaking little pieces off so it fits.
And the other guy was like, yes.
It is creepy,
and
but
then they continued to work.
And gothic shit was born that day.
So that'd be one.
That's a good one.
I'd like to go to, and I can't remember where it is. I have it saved because I can never remember where it is, but there's a tea house that is on the very top of a mountain, and the only way to get there is by walking up to it, and it's a super treacherous stairway essentially that's carved into this mountain and has segments where you have to hold on to a rope, and there's just a bazillion padlocks on it, and it's you have to go on this whole pilgrimage just to go to this really, really, really nice tea house, and you can stay there the night. And the view is.
So you got to work.
You got to earn it. Yeah,
amazing.
Fucking that's very, spiritual journey.
Yeah. So that'd be one, and toss up between Scotland in general and Austria, near the Alps, Austria. I think that would be really cool.
I'm sure that would be amazingly gorgeous as well. Yeah.
You just want to be cold. You like where the cold is.
Vienna, is that Austria? Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
This is so fucking old, man. This cool architecture, great, beautiful countryside.
Everything's haunted there because it's thousands of, couple thousand years
so
old.
whatever.
Fair
Look at these haunted eyes.
I see them. They're dark like the black-eyed children. You were a black-eyed child.
I still am.
Those are good choices. That sounds fun.
And yours?
He's like Taco Bell, Wendy's.
Yeah, I know. I need to go to White Castle before I die. I definitely want to try.
And Maverick for their burritos.
Which are awesome, by the
way. But you know me, I like the shitty burritos that you can find anywhere that were deep fried by a raccoon in the fucking dumpster in the back. But
great for bear bait, by the way.
Raccoon deep fried fucking burritos in the buns.
Yeah. Okay. How to catch a Jeff. How to catch a bear.
It'd be funny they turn the tables on you. They're going to give a shit.
Well, that's what I say. Could you always imagine being in a boat and you're like, oh, where did this bologna sandwich come from? Get pulled out in the water.
Dude, if I ever have to find you two, I'm just going to get a whole basket and fill it with just loose assorted nicotine toothpicks. And then I'm going to hide.
Oh, shit.
And I'm going to wait.
Dude, look at the grape. They got lots of grape in there. I want the grape ones.
And then I'll just throw a net on you.
I do want to go to Ireland. That sounds fun to me. There's something about it that calls to me like crazy.
The beer? No.
I don't know. I do like Guinness. It's the music of U2. No, I don't know. There's some
all the redheaded lassies.
It could be that. No, it's not that. Absolutely not that. No, it's just I don't know what it is, but blah blah blah.
It's probably beautiful.
It probably is. It's the green. Green is the. It's it reminds me.
I don't think you'd like the weather though.
I don't think so either. It's a lot rainier than.
Just go to Portland.
Right.
It's kind of the same.
Right. I don't think they feel that way in Ireland. They're like, we're not Portland.
On the subject of Ireland, I've been using the term Irish goodbye for many years now. Are you familiar with Irish goodbye, either of you?
Is that a slap in the ass with a finger in the hole?
No, Irish goodbye, as far as I've ever known, has meant that you just dip out without saying anything.
Oh, okay.
Which I do frequently.
Right.
Like, I don't do it to you guys because, you know, I'm
we track
usually
you down.
at your house and it's weird if I just disappear.
It's like, well, you did.
But like
left.
in public situations, like if I'm in a group, I'll just like wait until nobody's paying attention to me and then walk away. It's like deeply satisfying to me on some level. I'm not sure why. Some psychologist out there can psychoanalyze that and tell me what damaged my childhood caused.
So is that really what it means?
Behavior. So apparently it means that to most of the world, but in Ireland they're like, that's not what that means.
And it is their word, I guess.
In Ireland, they apparently, according to this Irish person that I talked to
the IRA.
recently, the Irish goodbye is you slap a knee, you say goodbye, and then you talk for 20 more minutes.
Oh, that's even better. That
sounds more like what we all three actually do.
Right.
Fair enough.
So
we Irish goodbye.
Either
all
way
the
it be,
time.
I'm striving for peak Irish goodbye game, whether it's knee slapping and lingering or just disappearing and you going, where the fuck did Shaiden go?
Fair. I'm still doing the thing, aren't I?
Yeah, Ireland. We have Ireland so far.
Ireland, there's so many places I want to visit. Definitely Japan. I want to go to Japan very much and visit Kaz. And
I would really like to go to Japan.
You just want to go to the Red District.
Do I?
I don't know if there is one there.
I have a lot of...
I want to go eat yummy sushi.
The
and
Akibahara Strip.
play rock and roll with my friend. Drag your asses.
Yeah,
That'd
I have
be
several
fun.
friends in Japan that I miss terribly. I would really like to see them.
Japan would be awesome. And I'm torn. I want to say like 1,000, but New Zealand, Australia, somewhere down there. I really want to go visit some folk in Australia. And
Yeah, I think I'd rather go to Australia than Africa, actually.
right, there's a bunch of places.
Because
in
I
Africa
don't
I'd
really
like
want
visit.
to kill exotic animals necessarily, but doing some kangaroo.
You could choke out a roo, bro.
Go like helping out,
Kick
some
a
farmers
wallaby in
and
his
killing the
little dick.
kangaroos for them. I mean, they're like coyotes,
Dude,
kinda.
they're even bigger.
They devastate shit.
Do you see that movie where they had machine guns? Fuck. They gave them machine. No, nobody.
Have you ever seen a kangaroo skinned? Either one of you?
They
They look like
people
dudes.
Well, it's
they
like
look-
bears too. It's
yeah.
because they have shoulders, really.
and pecs,
Yeah.
pectoral muscles like crazy.
Yeah.
Fuck that shit.
Baboons too. I saw a picture of that.
Well,
Of some
they-
poachers, but
it's closer.
Yeah.
Also, there's so many places. There's like almost no place on earth that I don't want to go. There's a few countries that are like it just wouldn't be
I could
wise
come
to
up with
visit.
some. Challenge accepted.
Well, yeah. But like I want to visit, South America. There's a bunch of countries I'd
Do
visit.
you?
Yeah,
You know how
I
many
want to live
crazy
in.
bugs are there, Zach? The bugs. But
I know.
The bugs though.
I know.
But the bugs though.
I know.
They're gonna get armed.
He just wants to be inside of a house where he can look out the window and see.
Yes.
these
Oh
things.
God. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's
he's
some
like, I'm
cities I want.
Anywhere Zach says he wants to go, what he's saying is, I want to be
hotel.
enclosed.
Yes. No, I want to live outdoors in Germany is where I want to go. We want to go live outdoors. Shaiden wants to live in the Alps, but
Okay,
not.
I'm just
in
saying,
a hotel. He wants to live on the
hotels
mountain.
everywhere are not created equal, dude. Like, you're not safe from the bugs, depending on places.
My cousin lived in Argentina for a while, and it looked pretty damn nice. There's some fun places that you could be in Argentina that sounds nice to me, and also other places, etc. Be fun to visit. But Japan, that's where I'd like to. I'd love to go there
New
the
Zealand
most.
would be cool, man. It'd be cool to go to New Zealand, go snowboarding in the morning, and then
surfing in the.
and then longboard all the way down to the ocean, and then surf in the evening.
Yeah.
That's a killer day.
I would 100% do that.
Yeah, for sure.
All the things I love.
And
on
you
a
can
board.
dress down as you go.
Right.
To be fair, you
just
can,
have a chase car that's just picking up all the
Picking up your clothes.
that you drop along
I
the
lived
way.
in a kind of a place where you could do that. I live in Central California, because if you go from Tahoe during a certain time of year, you can ski in Tahoe, drive all the way down to Santa Cruz, and
Is that
surf
like-
by nighttime.
Yeah.
It was fucking. I never did that because obviously I'm me, and I would itch the whole time or whatever. But it was nice to know that it was a potential thing, and it was literally like beautiful snow. I mean, Tahoe's not like deep snow. Or
Well, if you
whatever.
ever get the opportunity, go to Capitola Beach. It's probably my favorite beach that I've ever been to. It's just outside of Santa Cruz. And it's
Okay.
fucking gorgeous.
I might have been there. I don't know. I don't pay attention to those kind of details that much. All right, thank you for indulging me with our top three. Top three. Dude, we got three. There's three. Now Jeff is going to lead us through something that might be super valuable, and we're going to linger on this one a little bit. And this is
like we don't ever do on anything else.
No, we never do. I mean, we're going to try and not take the ride into loopty fucking loops, and then under the thing, and then have a kid fall off and have to stop in the midst, and then
it's futile.
Fix the tracks.
It's futile.
All right.
You never keep this on the rails, dude.
This is
habit. Yeah,
habits that will fix 99% of your problems.
This is huge claims. With huge claims comes
99%.
I have 90% down.
It's going to be a trick.
So if you suffered from genital warts, say, this would fix 99% of that? Or is that part of the 1% that these won't fix?
I think that's true. I think the 1% is a robust place of terrible things.
Right.
These cannot be fixed. One, all the things with your dick.
So it really
two, also vagina. Go ahead.
This is just kind of some tips. Planning your day the night before. Planning your day the night before is an incredibly popular productivity strategy. Get everything ready you need for the morning. Things seem simpler when everything is planned and handy.
I do that every day.
Yeah, I do that constantly.
You guys are both list makers. I'm a list maker. If I get lazy and don't make the lists, my life gets real unorganized real goddamn quick.
Same.
So if you don't do it, try it. Try it for a month.
Yeah.
Just try it for a month.
That's pretty rad.
If you stop, you'll realize how valuable it is.
Yeah, make it the last thing you do at night before you kind of wind down completely. Just make a list of checkmark shit that you're going to do the next day.
Or even these
lay
phones.
out the shit. What's that?
These phones are amazing. You got a notes section in there. If you think of something that you got to get done, but you can't get to it right now, put it in there. I mean, I have a daily list. I have things I need to do this week. I have things that needs to get done by the month, and then really goals for the year.
Nice.
And I add and subtract to those all the time.
Do you, real quick, like I find myself more diligent if I write it on paper. Do you don't care? It doesn't matter. It works for you.
Anymore, it doesn't really matter.
I don't know why I still...
I lose the paper. I don't lose my phone.
I think I had a BlackBerry too young or something because I ignore shit that I shouldn't. Like I'm like, it's a fucking stupid, alarm on my phone, whatever. But if it's like I don't know why.
I'm a list maker, yes, but I'm also super resistant to the idea of making lists for myself. Like physical lists. I make lists in my head all the fucking time about everything.
My brain's not that good.
Neither is mine. I fail at this all the time.
What was number 2?
But I keep doing it anyway.
So may I suggest writing them
Listen
down?
to the rest of the story before you start trying to fix me. I make lists when it really counts. Like if it's something that I'm like, I have to have a list for this that I can't forget, I will sit down and make a list physically. But if it's something where I'm like, if I fuck it up, it won't be the end of the world. I will intentionally not write it down to see if I can remember the list.
Hey, it's good to challenge yourself. Fucking A.
Still prioritizing, I guess.
All right, unlinger. Where are we going next?
Number 2, if something takes 5 minutes or less,
get it done.
Just fucking do it.
Just do it.
Yeah. If you can do something that takes less than 5 minutes to complete, do it right away.
And that's why we don't do the laundry, because it's usually like 10 minutes. Fuck that shit.
Dude, that advice is both positive and also for my ADD ass super not positive, because I will just spend my whole day doing
5 minute things.
5 minute tasks.
This goes into
because I'll think of it and I'll be like, I could do that.
This goes into my commercial.
No, I can do that. I can do that.
This goes into my commercial break theory, though, from 2 episodes ago.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people agree too. A lot of people agreed with your theory. I read the emails. Some people agreed with me though.
I didn't see the emails this week. Sorry.
It's all right.
Create a morning ritual. Have a morning ritual for yourself. Practice waking up early. It prepares you for the day. Make time to exercise. Make time for meditation. The more you practice it, the more your life gets better. Meditation is one that I struggle with. I don't really. I sit there and my brain races instead of letting things go. So meditation just becomes stress for me.
You got to do it more.
I'm doing it wrong, obviously.
Yeah. You're not doing it wrong. You're just not doing it enough.
Yeah,
that's probably true.
It takes practice.
Yeah.
I meditated last night. It was great.
Same.
So morning ritual. I had to relearn. Anyway. I had to relearn morning rituals after getting out of work, after leaving my job. So I'm getting better.
I'm not good at the other things. The meditation is part of my life, or more so anyway. But everything else, my morning routine is besides that. Yeah.
I feel like getting up early is subjective, and I know Zach's going to back me up on this because if your schedule is you don't go to bed until 2 a.m, and then you get up between 8 and 9. A lot of morning people wouldn't fucking call that getting up early, but you slept for 6 hours,
right? And
you got up and you got back to it.
That's I went to bed
isn't it?
Well, power shift. I got to bed by 3 to 3:30. I was up by 9 o'clock. That's just what I did. 6 hours is 6 hours. 7 hours.
That's like what I said.
That's literally yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying that was bad.
No, I'm saying I'm saying that counts.
Oh, okay. I thought you were like, don't. I was
like,
that.
Getting up early, how are you fucking disagreeing with me right now?
Getting up early doesn't mean you have to look at the birds. It's just like denying yourself too much sleep, right? It's like Marcus Aurelius. You're meant to be a person.
The important part is the getting up. Like, don't just sleep and lay around. And which I get guilty of that, but like usually. My morning is my only chance at free time for the day. So like if I don't sit there and just ease into the day once in a while, I know as soon as I get going, my momentum's just going to keep going until I collapse. So I'm like, maybe I'll just sit here and watch a YouTube video for 20 minutes.
If I know I've got a super busy day coming up, I will get up extra early just so I can have that prep time for my day.
I got a question real quick before we get back to the list. Have you guys ever heard of the Da Vinci sleep schedule or sleep program or sleep
is this where you sleep a couple hours and then you're up a couple hours?
Yeah, there's a little bit of resting.
I did that for a year.
Did you? Okay. Mm-hmm. So then there's the 36-hour day schedule, and then there's a bunch of different variations.
So, there's a lot of variations. The one that I did was you sleep for 4 hours at some point during the night. You sleep for 4 hours, and then you're awake, and then twice at equidistant points in the day, you take two 20-minute naps.
20 minutes.
2 of them, and they have to be spaced evenly apart. And for the first 3 weeks, it was
hell,
total hell.
Yeah,
like oh my god, it sucked. But then it just clicked,
and it was kick-ass.
And I was like,
I'm gonna write a goddamn novel a day.
I felt fucking great.
Yeah,
like I had energy. I'd start to get tired round about the time it was time to take that 20-minute snooze. And the problem is the first couple weeks, you can't do the naps. That's why it sucks so bad, because you'll lay there and you'll try, but your body is like, what are we doing? Like, we're not sleeping right now. But when you actually train your body to do it over the course of a few weeks, I got to the point where I'd get to where it was time for my 20-minute nap, and I'd be like, nice, and I'd lay down and be out immediately. Right. Like I'd just be like, boom, and then I'd have this little gentle alarm that would go off 15 to 20 minutes later, and I would just open my eyes and be like, oh yeah, I feel so much better. And then I would just
have a dream too,
be completely renewed. Yeah. I mean, I dream. I'm an active dreamer anyway, but in
that 20 minutes you get a fucking quality like REM.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was doing that. The problem with all of them, in my opinion, is once you get into them, they're great if you can maintain them. But if your schedule gets fucked up one time, you're back to like square zero. Yeah. Which sucks. Because I cannot emphasize how much the first 2 to 3 weeks sucks.
And I could see working from home like you guys do, where you could implement that kind of schedule.
I did it while I was working at Thrifty.
It's still hard.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. It gives
I would
4
take
extra hours
because I was a manager, so I would just take like a long lunch and drive home and get my 20-minute nap at lunchtime, and then I would do a 20-minute nap later in the day. And then
I worried as a singer, because I did it for off and on. I've done this program throughout my life, so I've done a whole bunch of these. And like he said, the first 3 weeks suck is like such an understatement. It's so hard to explain, and especially when you get off. If you've done it for like a couple months of the sleep schedule, your body's so trained. If you miss a nap or just get off the schedule, it
kills you.
It was very strange. And then you never want to do it again, but then you get all whatever. But I always worried about regeneration of like healing. Because I'd sing a couple nights a week, and I was in a metal band, so I'd scream, and I would be like, and I'd smoke like an idiot. So I was like, oh fuck, I want my voice back the next day, kind of thing. And I was worried about that, because sleep is where you get that.
I really also can't explain adequately though how great I felt when I was doing it. Like I was just, it was like like crack to me at the time. Like I was like, people were getting annoyed with me because I was just like, well, fucking, let's go. Like we're gonna do everything. And I got so much shit done because I had all these extra hours in the day, and like some of them were like at night when nobody would fucking bother me, and I was wide awake, and I was just like, and when it was time to sleep, I was just like, okay, time to sleep. Click.
Yeah, I felt hyper disciplined. I felt so disciplined because it was like when I was awake, I had everything in blocks of hours. I was running my magazine, so it was like just like now, where I literally I schedule it so there's like 20 minutes in between something, and that's it for the day. It's like, that's all I got. But I don't know. I felt so disciplined because it was, if I fucked up, I would hurt myself. So I was like, I had incentive not to fuck up. But then I also had incentive where it's like, I have these extra 4 hours a day. I should be writing something. I should be writing a book of some kind or whatever, some stupid thing that no one's going to want or read, but whatever, something I wanted to do. And it was amazing. I wrote more songs in that period. When I did this in like 2003, I was able to do this. Just like you said, I lived at home and I was doing my business out of my home.
Yeah.
And
if you have total control over your schedule, it's feasible.
But the one way I like to do it,
but if you don't, it's just like playing with fire.
Yeah. The one way that I stole I want to say it's Benjamin Franklin's style of doing this, because he did this way back in the day, is he would do this shit, basically very few naps like what you did, the 2 20-minute naps and then like a little chunk of sleep. But then he would do a 24-hour sleep day, and in between there somewhere, like once a month, or once.
God, I feel like I would die.
To me, it felt like you lost all those hours that you got back. But it was
you just went through it for nothing.
I know. I read that and was like, whatever. But I ended up doing like 14-hour sleep days.
Yeah, when I worked
every once in a while for that,
the huge gap of, most of my career was graveyard, but then I went to power shift. But typically on my Friday, I was working like a 5:30 to 5:30 shift on my Friday, so I would sleep about 5 to 6 hours, get up, go work out, work all night, and then I would stay up for the full day on my first day off. So I was up.
You were the least sleepiness motherfucker I think I know.
But then I would turn around and crash out about 12 hours.
Nobody I know sleeps good, but you don't sleep much at all. You and Monique both are like the least of sleepiness motherfuckers.
Just recently I got kicked back into my power shift schedule, and I was stuck I wouldn't go to bed till 3:30, and I was trying to get up at 6 still.
Fuck.
And that wasn't working out very good. But just this weekend I kicked it back into where it's supposed to be, so I'm tired now.
Getting your 6-7 hours.
I'll be ready for bed tonight. Yeah,
good
for sure.
Yeah, I'm usually I think the best suited schedule to me all around is going to bed about 2 a.m. ish, and then I get up at about 8, between 8 and 8:30.
That's solid.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Whoever they are, everything I've ever read says 7 hours is the optimum, the amount of sleep.
I feel like 6-7 is good for me too.
Yeah.
6. I don't feel like I feel like I want to go back to bed as soon as I get home when I get my 6 hours of sleep. But it's still, I'm like, this is perfect.
There's a world of difference between 6 hours of sleep and 5 for me anyway. Like if I go to sleep and I'm like, I have to be up in 5 hours or less, I'm like, I'm fucked.
That's because you stress. That's because you stress for the next hour trying to get sleep because you're worried about having to get up earlier.
Do you guys take pride in when you're like, fuck it, I'm sleeping 3 hours tomorrow, and that's just the way it is? Do you ever, when I was doing my magazine and just whenever I'm doing these kind of projects that require time, it's like, fuck it, I'm sleeping 7 hours total this week. Fuck it.
Oh,
I kind of take some sort of personal pride in it.
When I would do like those 14, 15 hours.
I'm a moron, but fucking, I at least I earned something this week.
Whenever, like those 14, 15 days straight, I would pride myself on that.
Yeah.
And then I would hate myself towards the end.
Yeah. As you look in the mirror and you're like, God damn, I aged myself quick.
I feel like it's a necessary component of doing that to yourself. You have to frame it in your mind in a way to where you're a little bit superior to everybody, because you're like, oh, look at all you fuckers. You're existing because you got a full night's sleep. But really what you're masking is, why am I doing this to myself? I'm an idiot.
Yeah, no one cares about this project that I'm doing that I'm killing myself for.
Not once have I ever said to somebody, I'm so tired I didn't get hardly any sleep last night, and they actually gave a shit.
Right.
I can see it in their eyes. They're just like, shut up about it.
We've all been there. Yeah, no one cared for me. I don't care for you.
We're not impressed.
Yeah. All right.
Number 4.
We lingered the fuck on that. All right, moving on.
Follow the 80-20 rule.
Okay.
Invest most of your money at the time. Let me try that again. Invest most of your energy and time on those specific tasks that create a big impact and maximize your productivity.
Like, don't go to the grocery store.
No.
Yes.
He's not.
You maximize going to the grocery store by getting all your other shit done while you're out running around. Then you can go home.
No, you decide
20% of the
that
tasks yield 80% of the results.
Okay. Fair enough. Yeah. I like the 80-20 rule. There's a book about that.
In the gaming world, we call that min-maxing. And I'm a big fan.
Min-maxing. Minimum maxing? Minimum maximization?
It's basically doing the least amount of... Somebody's going to call me out on this because I'm not explaining it right, but it's like least amount of effort, most amount of effect.
Work smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also take advantage of everything you can.
But then it's in gaming, so you're kind of fucking up your 80-20 in your life.
Quit calling us nerds, Jeff.
I didn't call you a nerd.
You implied it.
It's not what I said.
You implied it completely. Your eyebrows said nerd when you looked at me.
Gaming's important, right?
It is.
I won't hear otherwise. I will not tolerate this
you won't be able to fly.
besmirchment of my hobbies.
So here we go.
You won't be able to fly an airplane in the future without knowing how to play a video game.
Get enough rest. Without enough rest, you can't enjoy or improve your life. To get all the things done as expected, you must get enough rest for your body and your mind. Not getting enough rest makes you cranky and reduces your other abilities to concentrate.
Fuck you. What are we talking about?
I'm cranky anyway.
Yeah.
So
I agree with
so
you.
I get cranky from sleeping too much.
Anyway, those are the 5 things that
solve 99% of your herpes? What? 99% of my syphilis is going to... Wait, I don't understand. No, those were all good. Those were all really good.
I'm going to say 90%.
The sleep one, there's a lot of different theories on sleep, obviously.
Well, can we go through them one more time? We summarize the list.
Number 1, don't plan your day the night before.
Fucking A.
If something takes 5 minutes or less, do it.
Fucking A.
Create a morning ritual.
Fucking O.
Follow the 80-20 rule.
Fuck 2 R's.
Get enough rest.
Fuck a Z.
What?
I don't know.
He's fucking his way through the alphabet. Just let him do it.
I went as far as I could and as fast as I could. Those are all pretty good. And I would say
I'd say that's probably a good place to start.
Yeah, it clears out your mind, getting all that sleep.
If your life's feeling unorganized and fucked up, maybe throw this in there and concentrate on it. Maybe it'll make some other things better.
If it feels unorganized and fucked up, then organize and fuck down.
Right?
Right? Is that... I
think that makes logical sense, or at least linguistic sense, I think. All right, fucking thank you for that. That was fun. And you got to lead this next one, too. You ready for this one, Jeff?
Which one is it?
It's opposites attract.
Oh, yeah.
2 steps forward. 2 steps... when we get together.
All right, Paula.
Remember the cat? There was a little cartoon cat.
I'm beginning to think we could all use a little more sleep at this point.
I think so.
Little Paula Abdul for everyone if you didn't know.
All right.
I just think it's interesting. I mean, throughout life, you always hear, opposites attract, opposites attract. You know.
Do they?
Oh, no wonder they're totally opposite you. You know, they're totally opposite you. No wonder you're attracted. They might attract. That doesn't mean you should fucking be with them.
Right.
All right. I mean, throughout and it's more specific towards romantic relationships. Everybody gets excited if they're like opposite from the person that they're with. No, that just creates problems down the road in general. Doesn't mean everything has to align. Obviously, we grow up different. We're going to have some differences. But when you look at the people that you hang around in your friendships and stuff, you kind of create your own tribe. You're around like people. So why wouldn't you try to do the same thing within your personal relationships? I just think it's an oddity within society that people just loosely throw out there like it's supposed to be that way. And I totally disagree.
I think Paul Abdul probably did that to us.
I can explain this. I got this one. Opposites attract is a platitude.
Yeah.
But I think people say that because it's catchier than complementary differences attract, which I think is really what they're driving at.
Yeah,
because that's true.
Maybe I took it too literal and realized in my life.
It was the Paul Abdul song.
You're totally opposite of me. What the fuck am I doing?
And I mean,
I heard this was the right thing to do.
I guess there's truth to. I don't know. I don't even know if there's like if you were to take it literally, like somebody who's the opposite of me would be not very driven, not very dedicated to their passion, not very focused on the shit that matters to them,
not very blonde,
not caring much about their personal fitness, not interested in music, not a nerd.
Right.
That all sounds enormously
a
unappealing
communist,
to me.
a fascist,
Like,
communist, socialist, totalitarian,
but they would
collectivist.
be very attractive, because that I cannot check that box. So
oh, come on now.
Yeah,
Come now.
and I have literally taken. I've literally taken
balance out.
I've literally taken people like that, and then somehow thought I could make them not that, because
Folly.
Fucking cunt that thinks I can change everybody.
Folly, I say.
You was a cunt. Now you is no cunt.
Yeah, I don't deal with that shit anymore.
So, if you were to take it literally like that, then I agree with you. That doesn't pan out. That's silly. But I think I've always took it to mean complementary differences attract, where it's like, yeah, you're headed more or less in the same direction already to begin with, but you have enough differences that you're not bored with one another. Like it's just.
I think Monique and I have that kind of thing, like what you're saying, Shaiden, where it's, I mean, we are not the same person at all, but my weaknesses, which there are ample, are covered by her strengths, which there are ample.
Right.
So it's like,
I thought that was supposed to be more of the attraction between men and women anyway, is the two in general complement each other's lives.
yeah, yin and yang kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Hashtag not all, but I think generally it's a fair generalization for sure.
Well, I remember looking into like biology and some genetic stuff, and I think it was a debate. But I mean, I think I've talked to you about this, Jeff, at one point, just one of our conversations. But it was, I think cultures kind of do this, but the idea is to find a mate that could be confused for not. You definitely don't want to keep. You want to keep the genes spread apart. This is the caveat, but you want to. The ideal thing would be marry someone
the
that's
genes between apes and humans.
no, keep the human. You want it to be humans, I think. All the humans for the procreation.
I can't marry an ape if I really love her.
Probably not. I mean,
In today's world,
if you really love
probably.
it, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. If you really love it, I don't care. I'm not here to tell. But I don't know what this speaks to, because this only speaks for looks, and so that doesn't seem too right for me. But you're supposed to marry someone that's similar, that you could be confused as being brother and sister or being cousins, kind of thing, as far as similar traits and that kind of stuff. And I don't know why, but that was just something that I remember reading. That was a theory or a hypothesis or some.
And that's solely on looks, not on.
That's what.
Likes.
Yeah. I don't even think it was Western culture that came up with that idea. But blah blah blah. Thought I'd share it.
I read somewhere.
Marry your cousin is what they're saying.
Well, yeah.
I'm not nearly as pretty as Polly, so
I guess maybe maybe you're
that.
kind of talking about the same thing, and I'm only listening with half an ear. But I read somewhere that it's very possible I do that. But
Same.
I read somewhere once that when you look at faces and you decide whether or not you find them attractive, the ones that people find attractive are the ones that share the closest facial symmetry to your own face.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. Sense.
So the familial thing would kind of bear that out too, I guess, because it's just like, well, we'd probably have some similar genetic structure.
Yeah.
I guess.
Who knows what? But then like, there's some people that are completely attracted to things that are completely opposite of them, and that's just their nature in that too. So who knows? We're weird, weird little creatures.
Play with fire.
Fucking A.
It's your life.
So what would you say? Opposites attract. What did we learn about this? They don't really.
If you find that you are totally opposite of the person that you're with, it's probably not going to work out.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But if you choose not to take it too literally, then maybe there's some truth in there.
Fair. I like what you said too. The trade-off.
Complementary differences attract just doesn't roll off the tongue quite the same way.
It's not as
damn it, I took it so literal.
It doesn't fit in a Paula Abdul song from 1986 or 7 or 8 or whatever. All right, Reasonablist Party time.
Time to party.
It's time to party. This one's going to be an interesting one because I don't know where either of you sit on this. I'll give you guys a libertarian stance on this, and then we'll figure out what the reasonableist stance is. But borders, national borders. So the Reasonablist Party, I'm assuming, would be
a great wall. It's going to be huge.
There'll be a big door.
And Mexico's going to pay for
They're going to pay for it, or I'm going to make them pay and kick their ass.
All right. So borders. I'm assuming the Reasonablist Party will probably. I mean, it's going to be an international group, of course, so it could run the world. But probably the United States. We'll start there. Maybe some states.
Ooh, we're going for world domination.
Why not?
Nice.
Fucking
I'm into it now.
I mean, libertarians, they're just hiding behind their little government.
For one
they want to take
government.
They want to take over the whole thing. I
don't know how we got there.
Zach's just making executive decisions over here. I knew we couldn't trust this.
This is
fucker.
the problem, right?
No one said who was the chairman, so I just grabbed that shit. I've got this little book I'm going to put out. It's a little color. It's a purple book. It's a little purple book.
Okay, we're not going with one world power. We're going away from that.
But let's just say that we're in charge of the United States, and we have to decide policy as far as borders. And, we know what the Republicans of recent years' policy is. It's to have very strict borders and strong borders. I would say the liberal side still wants strong borders too, or liberal or left, or however democratic, or however you want to look at it. But they, I believe, have a little bit more, they want a bit more porous, blah, blah, blah. Libertarians generally are... It's strange to hear the political commentary from people now that call themselves libertarians, because libertarians are very much anti-border people. They're very much free market, free trade. You're free to travel the world. And I do like the idea of that, but I don't see that happening in my lifetime in most places. But I do like the idea of it. You can't force your ideas on things. So where would the Reasonablist Party fit in? Or would we have to find our own way?
So if we're going to be reasonable about this, I feel that we have to take into consideration what's on the other side of those borders and make these determinations based upon the specific borders, not just the border.
So you're saying nuke Canada?
Yeah, get rid of it.
Okay.
Cut it off.
I'm for that. Jeff's nodding too. He's for getting rid of Canada.
We could bring Alaska and just hook it onto,
We need that oil. We need that oil.
No, I just mean that if you have, so let's use our situation as an example, right? So our border with Mexico, and this is by no means saying that everybody who lives in Mexico is deplorable and has to be kept out at any cost. I don't think that at all.
No, Mexico's rad, actually.
But the socioeconomic and political situation and the crime situation in Mexico is worth consideration. When you have hugely powerful cartels that are arguably more powerful than the government in that country, who would be all too happy to extend their reach into our country and
have done a great job
and have seemed to have done a great job, then there should be a stronger border there, and there should be nuanced processes for people that want to come through legally, and there should be accessible avenues for people to do that. But they have to be stringent enough to make sure that we're at least putting up a reasonable barrier to keep people that want to come in and wreck our country from, at least make it a harder thing for them to do.
Yeah.
So, and I'm saying that up to, not that I align with the powers that be that started making this a reality, but up to and including building a big fucking wall, or having physical security, like a wall's not going to keep everything out, but
lots of technology can come with it. Yeah.
Walls keep a lot of things out.
Drones
we
and
still
sensors
build walls around homes and fucking compounds and shit for a reason.
Absolutely.
So, I don't think that was, people scoffed at that, like, oh, what's that gonna do? I'm like, well, it does something.
Does.
If you finish it, I
does.
guess.
You lock your fucking doors when you leave, right?
Right.
Somebody can still kick it in, but you still lock your fucking door.
Yeah.
Right. And border security is, even the Donald Trump wall thing included sensors and fucking extra security and drone shit and cameras and all that kind of stuff. So it's like there's a lot, and there's a lot of tunnels that are dug under most of illegal immigration is done in airplanes. So it's like over the walls.
I just feel like a lot of people that don't, and I might not be winning myself any friends with this statement, but
this is a controversial one.
I feel it is, and I'm not.
Forgive us, friends.
I'm not the authority on everything. I'm willing to admit if I'm wrong when presented with data, but from where I'm sitting, it seems to me that there's a large number of people that feel that there shouldn't be any restrictions on the borders whatsoever, and they feel that way because they don't have any love for the country that they live in. Where they're just like, I don't like this shithole anyway. Let anybody come in here. Anything different would be better than what I got.
Right.
And I don't know their life situation. Maybe that's true for them. I kind of don't think so. I
definitely don't empathize with them.
I'm not like a yeehaw patriot, America forever, stars and stripes, woohoo. But as somebody who's lived in multiple countries, this place is better than a shit ton of other places, you know, and to see it become not that way would be upsetting for me. I don't want that. I'm not rooting for it. I guess I'll put it that way.
Right.
You know, so, but on the flip side of that coin, as somebody who did immigrate to another country twice, it's really, 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 really fucking hard to do it legally. Like really fucking hard.
Yeah.
Unless you have shit tons of money.
Right.
Then it's really easy. And that shouldn't be.
No,
there needs
agreed.
to be a complete reform of the immigration system for sure.
Sure.
So that would be my caveat to all that.
I would say that people actually that immigrate into this country legally and go through the process and the testing, they probably end up knowing a hell of a lot more about this country than most people
way
that live
fucking
here.
more.
And I don't think that.
And maybe don't take things for granted as much too. Yeah.
Right. So they learn a lot and they want to be here, and I think that's good. I don't think it needs to be necessarily as stringent, but it doesn't need to be, you know, a free-for-all either, because that costs our country money. And as a government, we have a responsibility to keep financial security and in a military to keep our people safe. It's pretty simple.
So a hypothetical, if you went to an amusement park and you stood out front with a bunch of people in line for 6 hours, and then you paid an exorbitant amount of money to go in just because you knew it would be so dope. And then when you got in there, you realized that the fence around the back of it was just open and people were just walking in.
You'd feel like a chump, wouldn't you?
Let me tell you, I did.
Right.
And still do. And as my brother, who's currently, because he was born in Canada and has been working his ass off trying to legally be able to come down here, when like he could have feasibly caught a plane down to Mexico, hoofed it across, and I'd pick him up in Texas and drive him up here, and he'd be an illegal immigrant. But there's avenues for that shit all day long.
It's an example of the absurdity
he just
of this
is
shit.
too honorable of a person to do it that way. He wants to do it the right way, as I think he should, you know. But it is kind of a fucking spit in the eye sort of a thing, where it's just like, we're going to make it prohibitively difficult for people that actually want to come here for the right reasons and do it the right way. But fuck anybody who wants to come in, we're not even going to vet them. We don't care. Just let them come in. We don't want to hurt them. You know, we don't want to cause them any strife. It's like, but there has to be consequences for your actions, right?
Yeah. I mean, most people don't just show up in the country illegally and then on their own start viable businesses and become, you know, adapted to, for lack of better terms, American cultures, and adopt everything. That's not how it works. It just doesn't go that way. People usually come over illegally, get fake IDs, fake social security numbers, get their way into the government system to get free money, which just costs everybody else. Not to say that only people who are here illegally commit crime, but it certainly doesn't help. I mean, coming here illegally is a crime in itself. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah. It is.
Well, and there are certainly a demographic of people that come here in any manner of less than legal ways, whether it's just they come to visit legally, but then they just never leave, you know. Because where they came from was such a shitty life situation for them, they are super grateful to be here, and they end up bringing a lot to the table. And I don't even necessarily, like, I still want to lean towards, okay, but you should do it the right way, because it fucks it up for people that are trying to do it the right way. But at the same time, I'm not without compassion, you know. Like, at the end of the day, if you're here and you're contributing, then I'm pretty okay with it, you know. Like, there's exceptions to every rule, and no system is perfect. So like, if you happen to, like, if you just cut in line or whatever and made it in, but you're doing a good job, then I don't know. I could look past it.
I don't know how much the coyote system is in place anymore. I mean, now you can just kind of walk over and nobody does shit.
Explain that for people that don't know what a coyote is.
A coyote is somebody who has paid money to smuggle human beings into the United States. And so when I was in law enforcement down in the Yakima Valley, I'd actually made a traffic stop on a truck, did my interdiction, got 10 pounds of heroin. DEA happened to be at my office. I called them out. They took the investigation from there, but let me tail them, but it got bigger than me at that point. For what I for what I was able to do. That led to a house in town that was making, obviously, full of dope, making fake IDs, fake social security numbers, and had people in cages. And they were still waiting. Even though they paid all this money to get moved here, they were still going to have to get paid more to be released from this home because they're monopolizing on the system. And if they didn't, you either prostituted for them, sold drugs for them, or they'd fucking kill you. Right. And people don't think that occurs in this country. Now, that occurs for to get into the country was made easier, more expedient, and the requirements were easier to obtain, people wouldn't have to do that to begin with.
Right. Well, there's a black market basically that's formed in
absolutely.
This, and everywhere black market is being formed, something's wrong with the way the government's doing what they're doing in that market. Yeah.
So I agree that the system needs to change if you want to come here and become a citizen, but I still think that there needs to be a process that is worthwhile to make people appreciate that they're here, or not make them do shit, but the people that appreciate will do it.
I also think that the compassion component of having an open border doesn't outweigh the potential disaster that you're inviting by having an open border, because there's
all sorts of different
there's no
ways,
shortage of entities all over the world that sit somewhere on the spectrum of hating the United States and wanting to see the whole thing crumble, or at the very least fucking with it just because they don't care for us. And some of the reasons for not caring for us may be valid. However, I still live here, and all the people that I love also live here. And if I was somebody looking to fuck over the United States, and I saw that one of their borders was just letting people walk across, no ID check, no nothing, I'd be like, send the boys, send them all, send them right now.
I don't know how
I think it'd be foolish to believe that's not been happening.
We're a pretty highly armed society, and they got to get through Texas and a lot of those places. So Arizona too. So good luck.
I don't know what the process was for my great grandparents from all the countries they came from. I don't know how difficult it was for them to get in, because people were swarming the United States at that point. They were all coming into New York. So I don't know if they just unloaded boats and you signed a piece of paper that you're here, and they issue a social security number and you're good to go, or I mean, that's probably pre-social security number. I don't know how it went. I don't know if they had to test. But obviously, at some point, the government went, okay, this is too much. We can't handle this, so we do need to make a process. So they made a ridiculous process. There needs to be a middle ground somewhere.
Does.
Yeah. Well,
there needs to be a middle ground somewhere there.
You have to wonder, can you even have nations and immigration and borders without government? So this issue of human beings being displaced and trying to move around the places, it's just what governments allow you to do and which ones drew what lines in the sand. But here's the thing.
I just feel that you can't believe in the notion of private property without, by extension, believing in
any other country
borders, like the value of borders, even if it's just the border around your home.
Yeah.
Does any other country?
There's a lot of people that would like to debate you over private property, and there's different ideas on like your own personal things that you have, but then land, and people would say, well, you have your little piece of land, but private property is used to fucking own you, bitch. You don't even know how much the Catholic Church or the banks own, bitch. Don't even look into what Rome's got, bitch. Whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But as it pertains to my day-to-day life, I could give a fuck.
Right, I know. For sure. I'm a private property person as well.
Is there any other country that just allows anyone to come in and live there?
Not really. Not in that. Not
then
in
why
the
do
same way.
Then why would we be any different than any other country?
Right. Well, here's the thing.
Because we're enlightened.
Fundamentally,
Jeff, we're supposed to be better.
Because we're fucking utopian.
Well, this is a unique kind of melting pot nowadays of lots of people. We represent quite a few. Americans can be anyone in the world basically at this point. But the idea of a country is like what you're talking about. If we're the Reasonablist Party, we're responsible for the people's money because we're taxing them. I imagine, which I wouldn't want to do as much, but we're taxing them. So, being responsible as reasonable people, we have to go, all right, so we are a country and we do have borders. We need to know how many people are here because we give money to people here. We do welfare here. We give money to people to live, and we need to know how many people live here so we can allot the amount that goes out, right?
We need to design a budget to do that.
We're guessing at this point. We're just doing whatever the fuck comes to the thing, and we're just paying the check, and that's childlike stuff. That's how we're running the country right now.
That's like walking into a bar going, I got the tab for everybody tonight, and then all of a sudden that motherfucker, that word gets out, and everybody comes in. You're like, oh,
the whole town comes in.
I can't afford it.
Yeah, exactly. But then it's still somehow
like that in Top Gun, the new one.
I don't know.
I don't know, but I heard that's a great movie.
You haven't seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet either.
Oh fuck, you guys should watch it. It was actually really good.
But the idea of basically, so if you want open borders, or like the libertarian idea, or what a lot of progressives seem to want, is you would have to not have a welfare state. You would not be able to use taxpayers' money in a responsible way, where we're actually doing math and doing some books and saying, well, here's how much the taxes are, and here's how much this is, and here's how many people need it.
Yeah, you can't bitch about your taxes and bitch about closed borders at the same time.
Right. See that, and so that's why libertarians, like, it's been a weird fracture in their group, and it's been fun to watch, because there's a lot of people that kind of agree with the Donald Trump thing, where it's like we're American libertarians, and this kind of thing, which doesn't make sense to people that have been libertarians for a long time, because it's like, well, borders don't make sense to free trade, borders don't make sense to freedom. Borders don't make sense to non-aggression principle and to small government. All these things that libertarians stand for.
Well, that might come into like on tariffs and stuff like that.
Like, libertarians are not for tariffs. Tariffs are absolutely like a hindrance and a price fixing, and it generally hinders one group in a major way. But a price fix is always bad in a supply and demand system. So
I feel like you could still have a fairly equitable system of free trade across borders, as long as you don't overcomplicate the fucking issue. You know? Like, I would never suggest that borders be impenetrable in every regard. Like, there should be trade across borders for sure, as free and open trade as possible across borders. And I mean, you are dealing with different economies and different values of what's considered currency, so it's going to be complicated.
It's been very complicated, and
it's always
just
going
where
to be
live,
complicated. But like when you're saying, when you start introducing tariffs and duty and all this shit that gets packed into it, it just makes it more of a nightmare, in my opinion.
But it doesn't help what do we want with trade? We want people to be able to afford things and have a lot of things that makes their life better, and all of these things just get in the way. They make it more expensive, so that I don't make enough money to afford the things that I need, and those are government things with price fixing.
Right.
It's people trying to do good and generally not seeing the unintended consequences of all this stuff, and so government sucks, and that's the point.
Agreed.
But this is a tough one. Like, borders are essential if you're going to help people out with welfare or with any kind of services that the government pays through taxpayer money and doles out. I don't know how you cannot have a fucking understanding of how many people are in your country.
So do you think if it were possible to formulate a society in the United States that was something that the vast majority of people could be proud of, like which I feel like is like they're proud of / comfortable in / pleased with, which I feel like is kind of what we drive towards generally in this hypothetical. Not that it's meant to be perfect, but that is something something that we can look at and go, well, we have to tolerate X because of Y, but Y is super valuable, and on the whole, this seems like as good as we can feasibly make it, and we'll just try to tweak it and make it a little better as much as we can. If we could achieve that, do you think that the market that would arise in that environment would step up and take care of the border situation as far as like funding and staffing and all that shit goes for managing it? Yes. Do you think people would look at what we had built and go, this is fucking good, it's worth preserving, so we have to have layers of protection around it, and we're willing to pay for it? Do you think that would happen, or
only if it's good?
Do you think that would just never happen? People would want it but not want to pay for it, kind of a thing.
That's pretty possible.
That's kind of what most people want now, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, me personally, if it could be achieved, and if I felt I had reasonable assurance that my money was going towards that, actually, I'd pay for it.
Right. Treat it like a utility.
Yeah. I might not pay like a ton for it. And there's a lot of other people.
Well, if a lot of people paying, you wouldn't have to.
To a degree.
So I don't know if we figured out where we're at.
Are we talking like Netflix subscription?
I'm a pro border guy. for sure. But I do
for the Reasonablist Party though. What's the most reasonablest thing? It seems like
I think it's reasonable to have borders, but let's look at what the actual system is to become a legal citizen, because I'm sure that it is very, very difficult. So maybe it's too fucking stringent.
It is way too stringent.
Let's put some money and some effort and some people into that to make it a faster system and not so ridiculous.
Right.
Because when people come to the country, I'm all for it, and you're doing it legally, and you need some assistance to get going. If I'm going to invest as a government some money into you, but you're going to bring a viable business that supports your community that you're in, well, I want to support that. But if you're going to come here and just suck off the teat of the citizens, I'm not okay with that. But I'm not okay with citizens that are here already just sucking off the teat either. But our government forces people to do that.
A lot of times.
It's just like a warped idea of compassion.
It gets into welfare with me too.
It's just like a warped idea of compassion to me, because it's like, I feel like there's a camp of people that are saying, well, if they're here, they're here, and we should take care of all of our people, and if they're here, there are people, and like nobody should, but that's not compassion in my opinion, because that's not doing anybody any favors. That's like the equivalent of a parent with a kid who only wants to play Xbox, and they're like, well, it's my kid, I'm supposed to love him and take care of him, and if he wants to play Xbox, just let him play Xbox all the time. It's like,
and 40 years later, when you're still living in your basement, you're going,
you're not doing that kid any favors. You're not doing anybody any favors by incentivizing them to not contribute. Just my 2 cents.
But I wouldn't expect another country to just allow me to move over there and decide I was going to live either.
That just doesn't happen very often.
Take the macro and put it into a micro. Like if we were a nomadic tribe and somebody else showed up and started living with us and
just decided they're going to hang out
and did nothing. I mean, one, given the climate of the time, we probably just would have killed them. But two, say we were a particularly compassionate band of nomads, we would just be constantly kicking them in the ass, going, "Come on, contributor, we're leaving you. Contributor, we're leaving you. You do your part. You do your part." And that's not lacking in compassion. I say that is showing compassion, because you're like, no, come on, you don't get to be a slug. You have to go.
Love comes with expectations. That's just the way life is. The people say there's unconditional love. Bullshit. It doesn't exist. Period.
Yeah, sure.
Except for between me and Jeff.
Right. And
no, not on my side.
You son of a bitch. I want a divorce.
Well,
was that your, like, 12th?
That's so scary for me.
12th or 13th? Or what are we up to?
What role does government play in the fact that, so our neighbors, and this is changing a little bit over time, but right now it's very busy at the border. What does the United States Reasonablist Party, what's our role in the prosperity of Mexico, the prosperity of Canada, to make it so, nobody's coming from Canada into the United States, and not in droves. And I wouldn't want to describe droves from Mexico, but there's a lot of people coming from Mexico.
There's been times where you could describe it that way.
Yeah, it's been a lot of folk. What's causing them to leave? A lot of it's been currency, economics. There's just been a vast difference over the last several decades between Mexico's currency and ours, and so coming up here to work any job. It's
not just Mexico either, because there's been tons of people.
Guatemala, from Central America, absolutely.
Countries that have come.
And
it's funny because in Mexico's fucking immigration policy, we talk about all this stuff, very willy nilly. Mexico's immigration policy is very fucking hardcore when it comes to people coming from their southern border. Like and you try moving to Mexico, it's not super easy either.
Do you think there should be different rules for different borders?
I don't know, man. That's a weird thing to do, because we do treat Canada and Mexico in a way.
It doesn't seem so weird to me at face value, because if you have a different relationship
economically and
then why so would the rules not also be different?
Really, as America, we kind of have a vested interest in trying to fix Mexico to make it a good place for their citizens to live.
Or at least like, I don't know. I don't want the government doing anything like throwing money at anything but maybe removing tax burdens from companies that want to invest in Mexico or want to have things in Mexico, or, I don't know. Like you don't want to use the government to do anything, because they'll do something stupid with it, and then somebody that will be in charge of it that doesn't understand what was trying to happen, then totally fuck shit up.
On the whole, I wish the best for Mexico. I like Mexico. I think Mexico is cool as shit, but Mexico is perpetually in the chokehold of cartels, and that's not an issue that can just be ignored.
Well, that's a big part of our drug war.
In my heart, I would love to see Mexico succeed and flourish, and I would be more than happy to see some resources go that direction in order to help that happen. But there's a lot of data to support lets us predict that anything that it's going to get sent down there isn't going to be, it's just going to get appropriated. And,
we'd have to
we're basically funneling resources to groups that actively want us to crumble, you know? So it's like, well, fuck.
But
we'd like to help you, but your problem you have in your backyard is too big for us to do that.
But we're creating a lot of the problem. Would you say we're creating the problem with our drug war? Is the reason, I mean, that's where they're making a huge percentage of their money is off of selling drugs up here to the market that's buying
There's something to be said for that. Our drug war is warped 6 ways to Sunday, for
I think that's what, I mean, it's the organized crime.
Our
the
drug war,
market.
how about just our drug addiction is helping them out?
For sure, but
our drug war.
But I mean, our whole...
No, it's literally the drug war. Our drug addiction wouldn't be a problem if it was not illegal. The black market...
We're going to get into this again? Yes. Washington State is doing fucking great since everything's legal. There's no shootings or anything anymore.
Is it worse here than...
Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah,
I didn't even finish my sentence. That's where you're at with your belief system. So, yes, the drug war created a black market. Anywhere there's a black market, you have killings and crimes and bullshit. And we still have a black market for pot in Washington State. So they're doing a great job of legalizing weed. We still have a black market for pot in a legalized state. So that's dumb shittery. And that's just because we live in a country that's not fully legal. We live next to Idaho. So there's tons of shit.
I fully agree that
the black market is the problem.
That, like, now
that's where the cartel gets their money, is from the black market, correct?
Now that marijuana is legal in some states, it creates a bigger problem for the states that it's not legal in, and the states where it's legal, they make a lot more money off the drugs.
Well, it's showing the problem in the states that make it illegal, and showing how ridiculous it is. Because, like, marijuana legality didn't make Washington State worse. There's no data that shows that at all. Zero data. I mean, unless you have a disagreeing data. I haven't seen it.
I'm connected Present to your data.
Yeah, no shit.
No, I'm knee-jerk reaction to what's happened in this state since they just said, well, you can use drugs all you want. Now, there is still, you still have to get the drugs in the black market, which I agree is a problem. But I don't know if it gets better if you can buy it at Tim's drugstore or not. It still creates the addiction issue, which creates an influx of all the other crimes, including property crimes and violent crimes.
I'll tell you 100%, it's 100% better as a person that just smoked pot to be able to go to a store and not worry about anything, I'm not breaking the law. I'm not a criminal. I don't have to go hang out at somebody's house that's questionable. I go to a store that shows me the thing on the label of what's in it. And there's some stringent things to keep kids from getting it.
But you're also not so addicted to marijuana that you'd be willing to steal your grandparents' money and spend your rent money just to get this thing that you feel you need.
But the market's also made cannabis so inexpensive, too, compared to where it was, even in the black market. So heroin, if you're stealing to get, heroin and stuff, when it's on the black market right now, it's fucking expensive because it's a big risk.
But it's not.
But it would be even cheaper in the market of a normal thing, because that's what markets do, is they make things higher quality and they make them cheaper if it's a successful product, if it's something people want. So all we do is create danger in the black market. All we do is create these problems. And my whole point of saying this is, where does the cartel get its fucking money? Where's the source of the problem? The source is they're making a fuckload of money off of drugs, selling it to markets where it's illegal. They're doing that. There's also sex trafficking. There's also probably some guns and shit like that and other illegal things, but it's mainly fucking drugs, and it has been for a long time. Our drug war, our dumb, stupid policies of handling this shit like putting a Band-Aid on fucking cancer, they're taking advantage of it like crazy, and they're raking in billions of dollars, our currency, to do this.
So, hot take, I agree with both of you to an extent.
So if you want to produce our own drugs and sell them to our own people, yeah, we're going to make money on that, but you're not going to take away the quality of life crimes that occur because of addictions.
Sure, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we're talking about the border issue. Mexico has a cartel, or several cartels, that run that are almost as powerful or more powerful than parts of their government in different areas.
Probably more powerful than our own government.
Yeah, certainly in some areas. Their power comes from the drug war. The source is our drug war, is our legalities, and making it so it's profitable for them to make dig tunnels with trains and shit that cost billions of dollars. They spend way more money than we even spend, or smarter money they do. So if we wanted to stop that, I mean, obviously our addiction to drugs and our desire for drugs, our demand for drugs is the problem, of course. But people are going to get drugs no matter what. The way we have set up our way to fight drugs has empowered cartels to become one of the most powerful things in Mexico, if not the most powerful, and made it so we can't really fight it very well. So we have no control over it. Legalizing it, we can at least deal with the medical stuff of our kids. If they're addicted to it, we don't have to treat them like criminals.
Well,
when they break the law,
our
we can treat them
government
like
was
criminals.
also has for years also been playing both sides of that fence
For
too,
sure.
and arming them.
Yeah, Fast and Furious, all that stuff.
So yeah, has our government fucked up on that? Absolutely, because just what I said, they were that you can't start a drug war and say you can't have drugs and then arm the cartels.
Well, how did the mafia get all their money during Prohibition, right? I mean, they got all their money from doing bootleg alcohol.
But we could certainly, as a government, say, no, don't get your drugs from Mexico anymore. We're going to give you better drugs at a cheaper rate, and we can make lots of money off of our people, but we're going to destroy our country even faster than it is now.
I don't know if we would. I think, what I think would happen in that scenario is I think that we would go through a period of decline and disruption, and then it would find a natural equilibrium over time.
I do too.
Because that shit, anything that's destructive, people will, certain people will use it to destroy themselves, for sure. But there is a large demographic of people that will look at something, especially if it's something that they just newly got access to, and they're like, I'm gonna fuck with this, and then they get addicted to it, and then it fucks up their life, and then they reach a point where they're like, fuck this is destroying my life. So this next statement will be cold, but there will be the people that never find that turning point and they die from it. They're now removed from the equation. And then there will be people that go through that period, they find a turning point, and then they are also no longer part of the equation. They're on the other side of the equation, which is positive. And there will be people that look at it rationally and go, I don't give a fuck if it's readily available or not. I'm not going to do it because it ruins some other people's lives. And so they're on the good side of the equation. So I feel like over time, it would be really shitty in the short term, but I think it would level out in the long term.
Yeah. I mean,
I disagree, but
the meth labs have gone away because of where we're getting our drugs now.
Right, absolutely. And they call them Mexican super labs, and those started about 15 years ago. I will say that once that they make a shittier meth, we did make a better meth. Okay. And we had a lot more excited delirium because of it. And a lot more people died, and a lot more, people flipping around seeing aliens.
That's taken over for the dying.
Now meth is cheaper, but more people are probably on it. And it still creates the same problems in your life, just not as much excited delirium because it's not as good.
Are there more people on it percentage-wise, or is it more people just because the population's grown so much? Because it used to be under 1%, like it was like
it's
1/10 of a percent.
Well, now and everybody
try it.
It's meth for breakfast and then heroin the rest of your day. And heroin is more prevalent than it's ever been, and fentanyl now is a whole new thing, and now you can't even get cocaine without having fentanyl in it, and it's killing people. But since in this state, since they gave the ollie oxen free, drug use didn't go down, addiction didn't go down, crime didn't go down, it all shot through the fucking roof.
Right.
So that's what I'm basing a lot of what you're talking about. I do understand the black market portion, but we can either give we're either incentivizing the cartels to ship us the drugs to kill our people and fuck them up, or we can do it ourselves. We can certainly make money off our own people by making our own drugs, but I don't think that's good.
We don't want to make money off our own people. There's going to be people that want drugs, and we don't want to empower a cartel. If we're talking about borders right now.
But we always equate, right, I know it gets into the drug thing, but we always equate, marijuana is not fentanyl. Marijuana is not heroin. Marijuana is not cocaine.
Sure.
Marijuana is a whole different thing, which was inappropriately villainized. 100%. I think everybody can agree with that. But these other drugs those are villainous drugs, and they will destroy a person and change who they are and make them do things that they would not if they were not on those drugs.
Sure.
But I don't think
that it's working to use the government to punish people to do it. I don't think that. I mean, it's obvious that's
it
not
obviously
working.
Doesn't work.
Yeah. So to stick up for that system, it's like Washington State decriminalized drugs. They didn't make it legal. They decriminalized it, and there is a big difference. I can't go to the store and buy heroin, but if I get caught with heroin, a certain amount, I won't have my life ruined. But you still get heroin from a goddamn drug dealer, and that's the whole point of what I'm saying. The difference between a person walking in with dignity into a fucking pot shop that sells pot legally, and you get a receipt, and going to some jackass's house to buy it and have to smoke with him and listen to his dumb story and his dog barks at you and shit. That's the difference. Like, living a life as a criminal compared to being a consumer. Like, it reduces the amount of bullshit that we're dealing with. The government's solution to this is acting all tough guy about it. Like, we're just going to beat the shit out of people that do stuff wrong. And it's like, we've had 7 decades of it. How are we doing? We're doing shitty. It's getting worse and worse. And people don't like it. They really don't like it. They're giving up on fucking government over it in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? It's just not, I don't know.
So I'll say it again. I kind of agree with both of you. And it as it pertains to, because I think that crime and violence will go up if we make drugs just more easily accessible. But
in the short term.
But I think, in the short term. I'm not sure that it would stay that way in the long term, because everything peaks at a certain point.
Well, I will guarantee you this. We get to sit back and find out.
Yeah, we don't have to sit back and look at. We don't have to waste any time.
But I mean,
there are several countries around the world that have already done it for decades.
I think Zach makes a valid point, though, because I mean, if you're going to say legalizing them is not the way, or making them freely available is not the way, then the alternative is the way we've been doing it, which is creating a lot of strife in and of itself. So.
What's ruined lives.
So do we legalize it and then do business with the cartels ourselves?
No, the cartels wouldn't have any fucking money. They wouldn't have any money. Where would they get them? I mean, they could save the money that they have now and invest into proper businesses, but they're not going to. They might, I don't know, but they're dry up their money. Like if we legalized it, they don't get any more illegal money. We get the money. Business owners in America would get the money, and taxes would be paid to the government, and we get the money. There wouldn't be any cartel money unless they'd go into more sex trafficking or some other illegal thing. That's
which even in your within America, your gangs, who used to sell drugs. Yes, they're still involved in drugs, but more than that, it's human trafficking.
Sex. Yeah,
that's the new thing to deal.
And that's a big thing in this.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Drugs is only one revenue stream for the cartels of many at this point.
But I think it's the biggest by far.
You amass a certain amount of wealth, and revenue streams just present themselves. Like, they've got plenty of fingers and plenty of other holes at this point. But
there's only so many.
It wouldn't hurt to cut one off.
You'd think they'd want to invest in like proper things, and they probably do. There's probably some accountants that are like, well, we actually want to get you guys in some stocks and for the cartels, but
I'm sure it's already been done.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But their income stream is literally what we've done with the drug war. It's like, it's worth it for us to take these risks against the government of the United States because they've got all these big holes they don't even fucking look at, and we're digging holes underneath their border with trains and shipping pounds and pounds and pounds.
Yeah, I think as far as it pertains to the border, doing whatever we can to make the black market less attainable, but doing whatever we can to preserve as much free trade as possible, that's where the Reasonablist Party policy should follow.
Yeah, for sure.
But I mean, the ramifications of all of that are crazy, and like, you don't know. I mean, none of us can sit here and predict, though we might try. We can't sit here and predict what the consequences of those kind of changes would be, and there's no avenue that doesn't involve negative consequences that bring harm to certain people that may not have faced harm otherwise. But there's already people being harmed by the way that it is now, and it's kind of one of those games of which one's worse and which one's better, and especially when you don't know what lies down road B.
It is apples and oranges to compare, Holland with the United States or smaller European countries or There's some South American countries that have legalized marijuana and legalized all drugs. There's variations around the world that have done it, but not one of them has degraded into destruction or chaos, or even crime rates have gone down in a lot of the European countries.
Fair to say,
but it's apples and oranges.
They're also not us.
Exactly, apples and oranges for sure. But we do have apples and all sorts of different kinds of stuff around the world where they've like done it.
I empathize with Jeff's position to the extent that between the three of us, Jeff by far has the most experience dealing firsthand with the direct effects of drug abuse. You know what I mean? Just throughout his career, he's seen shit that was brought about directly from the abuse of certain hard substances that it's like it would be impossible to not have your opinion of them colored by that.
It's more than just somebody using the drugs. It's what it turns the people into and what they do to their fellow citizens and their family members, and it does change a person.
Yeah,
right.
And I don't think all of that comes from just it being a black market situation either, because I've had people in my life that have died and or turned into completely different people that were villainous people 100%. And they would not have been that way if they hadn't gotten addicted to the drug that they did, So
and how many people honestly within our country have become drug addicts because of our own system, the medical system. I mean, when
there you go.
I mean, that's a reality.
Yeah.
So we've done it. We've done our own drug dealing through the medical system and got everybody on oxys and hand them out like fucking Tic Tacs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it has perpetuated. It quite frankly perpetuated the black market, because then they cut them off. Well, now I'm addicted to oxys. I'm addicted to a pill form of heroin. So now I got to go buy smack on the street.
Well, it's bullshit too, because
it's a very nuanced
our current government, and not only our government, but our government is implicit in this. They seem to want to supply the general populace with as many vices as possible that people will come to feel that they can't live without. Whatever shape it takes, doesn't matter. Everything is heroin. You know what I mean? Like, if you really boil it down, the fucking internet's heroin to a certain degree. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, again, not apples to oranges, but the essence of the thing stands, and it's just having a population that is reliant upon something to the point where not only will they pay for it, but they'll become unwilling to imagine their lives without it. That's control, baby.
Moreover, kill for it.
Yeah. And it's been firmly asserted at this point, I would say. And so unraveling that fucking snarl that's been crafted by generations of shitty people, that's a tall order, man. Like, it's easy to sit and engage in conjecture, and I think that's important. That's why we're doing this.
Sure.
I think there's value to it, but it's just like tugging on one thread just brings a whole fucking tapestry of horseshit with it, where it's just like, fuck.
But here we have all this data on government solutions for this, and it's like, do we waste even another second on that?
Here's the problem is
they've tried everything.
I think it's an unsolvable problem.
That's very much very, very possible. It
doesn't matter
what circular
ridiculous shit we come up with or who we want to point a finger at this point, it is fucking unsolvable.
Yeah. Okay.
It does seem like at a certain point it's just trading problems for different problems.
Yes. So now we're doing trade-offs. Now we're doing government. Now it's the Reasonablist Party. So it's like we want to have the least amount of harm come to the most amount of people, right? So or we want the people not to have to deal with,
unless I personally don't like them.
Right. And then Shaiden can just dictate. So, I mean, that's why I'm so pro legalization of these things, is because the black market's where people are hurt the most. I mean, there's government interaction that's also hard.
It's just anarchy at its finest. It's two people deciding to do business together, but one of them might be a cunt and get shot for it instead of go to jail. It's just a higher risk that people.
The black market is an anarchy in the way that it's not a cooperative thing. It's literally a reaction to a market of monopoly, which is the government and their decisions. So it's not anarchy, it's not a market, it's black market for a reason. It's not the market. It's a reaction to government diktat of what the fuck can be. People want something and they can't have it.
So what if our government
here's the price for it.
So what if our government becomes agreeable with the cartels to say we will spend this much money to purchase drugs for our people.
They'll go, no, because we make more the other way.
Yeah. So even if everything was legalized within our country and you could go down to Jim Bob's Market and go buy your fentanyl and heroin, whatever the fuck you want, that takes out the black market.
Yeah.
But it doesn't solve that. You're right. They're still going to try and have a black market in it. If it's not, if a market's they would have not to be done properly, like there will be a black market. People just instinctively know it's like we don't like that. Or they would have to agree to do business with us on an international trade.
Like you can tell me I'm fucking wrong about this, but it seems to me that in order for there to truly be no black market, there also has to truly be no restriction. Like none.
It has to be restrictions that people can live with. I mean, there's not a lot of black markets.
All people?
There's going to be like little black market transactions where people are like, I'm not buying apples for that price. I'm going to get me some, whatever.
Right.
But no, overall. But for again, it's just trading off. So it's like we want the most people playing by the most rules, fairly cooperating, properly or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. I just feel like that's where my stance comes from. That doing broad sweeping changes is, I think it's just going to create more ripple effects than it's actually going to be productive.
Maybe, but look at it like this: like the hard drugs are right now. Not only are they being sold by drug dealers, but they're being made by people that's not controlled in any way. So we don't know what the fuck's in cocaine. We don't know what the fuck's in heroin and stuff like that. You legalize drugs in this country, the first people that are going to be at the drugs are going to be the people that use them in the medical world. And so we automatically have pharmaceutical companies coming in with their labeling and their fucking all sorts of things that they're supposed to do.
That sounds
our
great.
government does.
Pharmaceutical companies are totally on our side.
Better than putting people in jail, better than ruining lives, better than sending cops out with guns to go get their dog shot.
Pharmaceutical companies are ruining a lot of lives and putting people in jail.
I know. Well, they ruin lives.
There is a certain amount of drugs that our country buys to make medications, for sure, and they buy those from other countries, and I would assume that Mexico, they got to be doing business with cartels as it is already.
Well, all the heroin in the world, most of it, I think, comes from Afghanistan. I believe it's like 95% of it comes from there.
Really, I didn't know that.
So everybody's doing business with somebody, but I don't know. To me, black markets are like what you learn about economics is you just do not want those, and it creates corruption. It creates all the problems that we're talking about in the drug war. I mean, every bit of it. The shootings, the turf stuff, the fact that they have any money at all comes from the fact that they're funded by this illegality. So if you take away their funding, we lose gang problems, we lose cartel problems. They'll replace them, but with less money.
Right, but we touched on that.
That's a win no matter what. Less money for them to fuck around
That would
with.
create desperation and drastic action, I think is what
why do you
happen.
think a lot of the gangs that were...
There's a lot of cartel operators that are already here, and they're not here just hiding. Like, they're here in positions of power.
Sure.
So it's like if we made some broad sweeping change that took away their revenue stream overnight, then it's war's on, boys.
Well, they're just going.
What can they do?
We no longer have anything to lose. So
they're just going to find another avenue, which a lot of them have. That's why the switch has gone from drug trafficking to sex trafficking.
The sex trafficking, I don't think makes nearly the much. I don't know, but I'm sure it makes a shitload. It's billions of dollars.
I would say it probably makes more
than drugs.
More people want sex than drugs,
but more people aren't willing to pay for fucking a slave or a fucking. You know what I mean? Not everybody's in. I really don't think that's more people do drugs recreationally than pay hookers for sex.
More people have sex in life than do drugs.
Of course. We're not talking about, of course.
I'm saying that there is there's a larger market for sex than there is for drugs even.
But sex trafficking isn't the big part of the sex money. Like most people in prostitution, are they children being sex trafficked, or are they coming through the country? I mean, are they sex slaves that are prostitutes? Like, I'm not sure I understand.
I mean, there's levels to every market. I mean, the
cartels don't have.
You want to say drugs, the drug market. Well, technically, marijuana is part of the drug market, but there's levels to everything, right? There's people that are just fine with marijuana, and there's people that want cocaine. Then there's people that want heroin. Then there's people that want meth. And then there's people that want, like it gets deeper and deeper. And I'm sure the same is true with sex as a market, Yeah. So it really would come down to the difference in the prices that people are willing to pay, I imagine.
But the customer base is the thing. Like, less than 0.1% of human beings in the United States are going to try heroin. Less than 0.1% will even try it in their lifetime, let alone be addicted to it and all that stuff. What percentage of people?
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know.
I mean, you can look into it if you like. That's what it was just not that long ago. But there's millions of people that try it throughout their life, but there's 330 million people here. But it's still like the majority of people will never try heroin in their life. The vast majority of people never will. The vast majority of people in their life are not going to get a hooker either, and they're certainly not going to go looking for a child. Right. You know what I mean? So
I would venture to say that when it comes to opiates, I can remember back in the day when there was a progression. As a kid, you'd try chewing or smoking, and then you get into maybe some wine, and then some beer, and then you're smoking some pot, and then maybe a little blow, and you just kind of go up the ladder. Not everybody does that, but let's take the people that go all the way up the ladder. Then you were into the heroin. Now, it's not uncommon to run across a 10-year-old who's hooked on fentanyl. It's not uncommon. They skip all those gaps, and they're all the way at the top. That's just and that is our own country's fault with pills, quite frankly.
That's awful.
We started that problem.
What do you mean by not uncommon? Like the
last 5 years of my career, the conversations that I had with the young kids, they started at heroin. They started at fentanyl. They started at cocaine because
of pills or something,
or stealing mom's pills. Yeah.
Right. And
that's and honestly, more times than not, that's really where it started. Is our own shit that we were doing. Is the oxys, the hydros.
Mm-hmm. So things are already regulated by the government, like pretty heavily,
and it's not working.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. That's my point. Like that's certainly not working. Right. Like you said before, Jeff, I don't think that there's a solution to it.
If you could if there was a way that people could use the drugs but not do the crimes that are associated with the drugs, and it's not just the black market. I mean, you can make it as cheap as possible. It changes the person to have it turns them into apathetic people that their drive is not to go get a job to buy drugs. It's because it's a lot easier. It's less effort with more of an end result. It's a hell of a lot easier to go steal someone's shit. It takes 30 seconds to do that and go trade it for dope than it is to go work 8 hours to get maybe less amount of money. So
sure.
So it still creates the same person, whether it's in a black market or if it was totally legal.
I agree, except for, I think it's a big deal, the fact that it's part of a criminal world compared to a legal world.
Maybe you have less
doesn't it make sense that if you're addicted to heroin, but you're walking into a store where people sell heroin and they can talk about heroin, and they can say, well, here's the obvious side effects of heroin, pal. We can see that, compared to going into Timmy's house that sells heroin and has to watch out for cops on the street and has to hide it from his parents and can't talk to anybody about it because he's already, the difference is fucking night and day, the way we treat people, if it's legal and if it's decriminalized or just, able to be used. It's night and day. And so these people, it's not just access to it, and it's a whole lifestyle of things that are going along. Like mom and dad, when it's illegal, they're like, fucking, my mom was so fucking marijuana bong, I've never heard of that. When it was legal, my mom was out there at Hempfest and shit cheering for it. That's just my anecdotal mom, but that's a big deal. Like, it's a big deal to me when I bought pot and had to drive to some jackass's house and smoke it with him and be part of a fucking dumb ritual whatever, compared to going to the store.
All that's true, but I don't know that it negates Jeff's point that he's making either. It's not about the access or the legality so much as it is about how some of those substances rewire a person.
Right. No, I get that, but we can't even talk to them until we arrest them. If we do it in the black market, if we do it in an above ground way, we can talk to them before they get to the point where they're robbing people and shit like that, or we have a better chance to. We have no chance in a black market to talk these people away from crime, because they're to get the thing that they want, they're committing a crime. Mm-hmm. So they're automatically part of that world. That to me is like the biggest fundamental reason to legalize things, to where we can talk about it and where we can treat these people like people instead of us against them, instead of...
I guess with the thousands of people that I have communicated with, whether I arrested them or not, whether it was in my personal life or my professional life, the common thread is because of the addiction, they do the crime anyway, regardless of where they can get it.
So we want to prevent people from like wanting to do the drug. So that's, again, talking about it, but it's not making it illegal. Doesn't make it happen. It makes it so they get the access and no one talks to them about it, and they get bullshit from people, and it's just in the shadows. So
that's the problem. It is so addictive and so strong that even making it illegal, even it being a felony, even the chance of getting shot every time they want to go buy it, doesn't fucking deter them.
No, we can't even keep the drugs out of prison. We just talked about prison pockets.
Right.
So it's not working. So for many years we've had this drug war on, where we've just punished people for what they want anyway.
I mean, unless you go out and you start whacking the cartels, really. I mean, and there's always going to be someone to take their place. So I guess you got to stay on top of it. There's no way to stop it.
Dry up the money. I mean, if Pfizer's making the money, they're already making billions of dollars off of other drugs that they legally sell. That's better than the cartels.
But that's all we turn into is the drug dealers for our own people. That's just my take on it.
But they want the drugs already, but now they don't have to do it in an alley. They can do it under the lights of a fucking RX store.
We're making money off the demise of our own country either way.
The same as beer. You want to make beer illegal? You want to make Jack Daniels illegal? I mean, we're selling them poison too. You want cheeseburgers illegal? Like, let people have the shit that hurts them. They don't,
Well, then be okay with people sleeping under your fucking bushes and breaking into your cars.
I'm saying that I think there would be less of that if we treated this as a problem that we talk about instead of a problem that we just let the cops deal with.
I don't think it will, but I guess we'll probably never know.
How so? What do you mean?
Because as of right now, again, as far as possession goes, merely possession, it's legal in this state. And the property crimes, financial crimes, and violent crimes are skyrocketing through the roof. We're living in a city that's having a police-related shooting about every week to every other week now.
I don't see why it would be beneficial to legalize possession without legalizing how to get it. Like, if you don't legalize distribution, what are you doing? That's just jerking off, So you don't arrest people because they catch it, but they have to go to a criminal to buy it. I can't stress that enough. That's the fundamental thing. If you don't change that, you're just jerking off. So of course there's not going to be a change. Of course, and I don't know.
We should try it in California. I'm just kidding. Well,
you guys have researched.
These are the jokes, people.
There's many countries that have done this stuff, and it hasn't been as big a problem. But we have a different country. It is apples to oranges.
If we had people in this country that just kept to themselves and did their own shit on the average, it would be a different conversation. But we don't.
I think on average we definitely do. A lot of people aren't. Most people don't.
I'm talking about the demographic that we're speaking of.
Oh, of drug users?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of shit that's tied to it, too. Because, like, let's say you were very successful and you married somebody who was not as successful, but you married them anyway. And then through whatever means, just for the sake of the argument, they decided, no, I'm divorcing you, and I'm exposing every skeleton in your closet, and I'm ruining you, and I'm taking everything from you. You can't tell me that one of the first thoughts to run through your head is, well, this process of her doing this to me will take longer than me burning this fucking house down. So I'm just going to burn the house down because I suddenly have nothing left to lose, and I'm still here, and they won't get here fast enough to stop me from doing it. So if she's going to take everything from me, I'm just going to make sure she doesn't have anything. That's my analogy to explain what would happen if you tried to dry up the cartel's money stream overnight. They've already got the resources, and word travels a lot faster than those resources are going to go away from them, and they're already here. So it wouldn't shock me. War in the streets is their game, dude. Like, they don't give a fuck that we're a highly armed populace. They're very highly armed. And there's people that will just be like, well, I'm going to be on their team because they're fucking strong and cutthroat and they know what's up. So, like, I think I don't know that they would win ultimately, but it would be a fucking royal mess, and I wouldn't think for a second that they wouldn't do it.
So you're saying that if we dried up their money supply, that they would retaliate through violence?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, that's their MO.
I mean, they've got a pretty big overhead from what I understand, so they'd have to keep that money going, which is probably why they haven't retired yet. You know what I mean? So
I would assume we're not the only country that they sell to.
No, right, exactly. It gets out.
Yeah.
But I think our country is definitely a big source. We got 330 million people, and who knows how many people.
We're definitely the neighbors
for sure. Yeah.
All right,
anyway, so borders. Yeah, make it.
We're kind of complicated.
I'm for borders. I'm for borders, but I'm also for making it not as complicated for people that actually want to go through a process to be here.
Yes.
So they don't have to, be smuggled in.
Yes.
So they don't have to live in a cage. So they don't have to prostitute and sell drugs or get whacked. Because I don't think that's okay either.
I don't either. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think we should be keeping people in cages for hardly any reason.
The way we treat people that are coming here, whether they're right or wrong to come here, we should definitely be nice about it. We should be kind. We shouldn't.
But it's something
at the
that
very
should be
least we should be humane.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And I mean, I understand it's a logistical nightmare.
Yeah. And whether people want to admit it or not,
Right.
the citizens are paying for it. So we need to know the numbers, and we need to know what kind of budget to have for it. Because, like you said, we're just writing checks, and nobody knows the extent of that.
It's really important to know that in our lives. Like, we have to know how much we're spending and how much we're spending it on. It just makes sense, right?
I mean, I can't imagine it's cheaper to house and process large groups of illegal immigrants than it would be to just build an HOV lane and load them up by the truckload and just pipe them right back. Hey, you can come in legally, otherwise if we catch you, we're putting you in a truck, we're taking you right back. There's no processing, there's no separating your family or whoever you're with. We're just going to take you all in the group that you came in, we're going to put you in this truck, and you're fucking going back. And we have speed access right through we'll flash our fucking frequent flyer pass to the border on the way through.
They keep seeing each other at the same time. Like,
hey, Larry.
I saw you last week, too.
So learn from the European rail systems and get one that goes north and south. And every 15 minutes, it's just running through.
Shit, yeah. Okay, well, maybe we did solve something this time.
Perhaps an oversimplification, but I'm just saying, I mean, fucking try it out. Who knows?
All right.
Well, boys, we got in the weeds there.
A lot has transpired.
Yeah, we got in the weeds on that one. I felt like it was good, though.
I love you, Jeff. We disagree, and
we just disagree on that one. That's okay.
That's all good.
You always are so worried after we have an intense conversation that my feelings.
You look mad. You look
Jeff,
mad and sad.
I'm in my serious mode because I'm trying to listen to what you're saying, and I'm trying to wrap my brain around where you're at.
Right.
And this is just one that I can't do it. It is what it is. We're always going to disagree on that.
Right.
But
black markets
you
are
understand
bad,
where
Jeff,
I come
all.
from. You understand.
Yeah.
I have really, really thick skin. You're not going to hurt my feelings.
I hope
it's
so.
Really okay.
I know. We've been friends a long time at this point. But
You should know that by now.
I know.
You guys are hurting my feelings, so I think we should move on.
Yeah, but
Because neither of us cared if you're hurt. Fuck you, buddy. I know you're fine, you thick-skinned
I'm just
bitch.
over here,
So this is our last episode of this year.
It is.
So we
It's
should
the New
probably-
Year's bullshit.
It's New Year's. Can we talk about New Year's for a second?
Oh, yeah.
Talk about New Year's.
Let's so I have this theory, right?
Is it about borders and drugs?
Y2K was 2000, right?
Okay.
Do you guys remember? You were working, right, Jeff? I know you told me off mic.
Yeah, I was
were
working.
and
It was a fun night.
a lot of precautionary measures were taken.
Oh my
for
God, my
no good
department!
reason.
I don't know how much they spent on their computers to make sure everything was good. My chief was losing his fucking mind. He really thought that the world was just going to come crashing down.
What a great
Norton
IT grift.
and McAfee antivirus probably just raked
The
it.
only
grift
thing that
of the
happened that night
century,
that was
literally.
different was a drunk guy out in front of the police department was there to pick a fight with the police, and he told me that he was a werewolf, and he started acting as though he was going to shapeshift and tried to fight me, and then quickly ate concretes for dinner and then went to jail. So
Concretes.
It's fucking wannabe werewolves. Should have been me. I would have really done it.
Want to be werewolf.
Yeah, Y2K was pretty hilarious to me. One of those, like, the world's gonna end, and then it didn't. And then, fast forward, we had 2012, right? And
All them predictions.
Everybody was convinced based on the Mayan calendar. Which
there was a police officer that literally gave away all his worldly possessions.
I wish I was his neighbor.
So crazy.
I'll take your pool table.
Not one that worked with my agency, but a neighboring agency.
All it takes is like a cursory amount of Googling to like totally poke that theory full of holes anyway, just as far as like how that calendar even correlated to our calendar, especially with the adoption of the Gregorian calendar somewhere in there. It's just like, guys.
No. Look up who made this bullshit up. Find out who the source is. But it was
so fun, man. Like it was like the War of the Worlds phenomenon, but on steroids.
It was pretty fun.
Like, it was wild to live through it. But so we had 2000, we had 2012, and so 2024, following that logic, should be the next.
Right, every 12 years is what we're doing, right?
I mean,
I don't know. 10,
how many occurrences does it take to form a cycle? 3.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop?
3. See, I'm onto something here.
2. Only 2.
3. No, he said
3.
3.
It is 3.
A 2.
Fuck
a
with
3.
me.
A 3.
I know. I remember.
I do too.
So, things to look forward to. I mean, the world's kind of been trying to end for a couple years at least now. So
it's trying to get through down to the toilet drain, but it's just circling still.
Maybe it's a different pattern. Maybe it's 2000, 2012, and then it was 2020, and then it's going to be 2032.
Oh, it could be going.
10, 12, 10, 12.
If we wrote this down, damn it, there's a pattern happening. Whoever wrote this code, it's fucking obvious.
It's got to be 23. Everything turns in. It's 23.
It's Michael Jordan.
Everything equals 23. You got to watch the movie.
Or it's 42.
I think it's 27, 2.7.
2.7.
Right? Goddamn.
Now we're just rambling random numbers at each other. What do you guys? Okay, so we're doing 75 hard. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening in 2023 is 75 hard. It's going to start.
And that's 75 days of having a boner. Like the whole time, right?
It's kind of what happens, yeah. Okay. I mean, you're eating healthy, you're working out, you're feeling good.
Boner.
I just
bought
a bulk order of Cialis, so I'm ready to rock.
Life boner and a literal boner.
So by the time you guys hear this episode, it'll be like it's just about go time at this point.
Yeah.
Like, what are we? Our last episode came out right before Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
This will be on the 28th.
And so you've got 3 days.
Yeah,
2 days, depending on when you're listening to this. You might be out of time right now.
Get it prepared.
So we're gearing up. I'm excited, honestly.
I'm looking.
Will you teach me what I'm in for? Like, what am I in for? I'm on board.
We've explained this to you only 10 times.
No, 10 more times.
All right, so you're gonna wake up and grab a book while you're drinking your whatever you drink in the morning,
whiskey,
goat's milk, or whatever,
tiger blood.
Yeah, and you're gonna read 10 pages from a book that you're learning something from.
Fuck yeah.
You know.
Okay.
Not 50 Shades of Grey. You know. I'm doing all
less excited.
I'm doing all survival shit this time.
Okay. Porn magazines don't count as.
Well, I guess technically you could be learning something, but no, that doesn't count.
All right.
We all know it's not your first foray, Zach.
Yeah.
You've already learned all that.
I'm reiterating mainly for, in case somebody just tuned in.
Then you get up and, go find yourself a mirror that you can see yourself in and, get into your skivs or whatever and take a picture of yourself.
Okay.
And then get redressed and go outside for 45 minutes and go do a workout. I don't care if you do jumping jacks in your front yard, if you run, if you walk, do something with a purpose outside for 45 minutes. The whole intent is it doesn't matter what the weather is. Yeah, it's going to suck. That's the point of it. Do it anyway. It creates discipline.
Cool.
And then make sure you drink a gallon of water a day. Make sure you're eating healthy. Create your own, in quotes, diet. Eat healthy food. Don't eat cookies. Don't eat chips. All the bullshit.
The point is, formulate a diet that gears towards results you'd like to have for yourself. Some people want to gain weight. I mean, I have friends with stupid metabolisms that have been
chips still
skinny.
Isn't the right thing to eat there.
No, of course not. I mean,
it's not about me.
Things that have ingredients in them that you can't pronounce are probably not good for any diet. But formulate, come up with a diet. Spend some time thinking about this. These are the results I'd like to see. And and I did some reading, and these foods would be good for that and also good for me, and then formulate that diet and stick to it. That's the essence of it.
And
picking a diet and sticking to it.
And this is about being honest to yourself as well. Don't cheat. It's that simple. Don't fucking cheat.
That's the point of it, because you can cheat. And
this is about self-discipline. And you can tell when somebody really did this program or if they faked it.
Because they get a real...
Because there's something that happens to you. Things happen in your life that are really, really positive. And if you fake it, it's easy to spot. So don't fuck around. Do it right. I mean, do this with intent.
No one's going to know but you except
do this
for
with
us.
purpose.
Jeff will know. Jeff knows. Jeff already knows if you're going to quit. He can sense
and then
he knows
at least 3 hours. But
he's going to come to your house with a bag.
At least 3 hours, but it can be longer. You do a second 45-minute workout. At least 45-minute workout.
So an hour and a half a day.
An hour and a half a day of working out and 2 45-minute sessions. One of those has to be outside. Both of them can be outside. Sometimes I did 2 of them outside.
Is there a reason? Do they explain why the reason outside?
Yeah, it's a discipline.
Just in case. But what if you live in Florida and it's fucking tight out? Well, or California and it's nice out. Then it's like, fuck yeah, I want to be outside. Then it's not as disciplined as if you live in Minnesota, bro. I'm just
Why do you think I did it in the winter the first time?
I know, but a guy can do it in the winter in California and it'd be like, it's fine.
Well, you absolutely can. Yeah.
I think regardless of the weather, it's more inconvenient to go outside than it is to just do yoga in your living room.
It's inconvenient to do 2 different workouts at a time because you have to balance your schedule.
I'm just questioning. I'm just asking. I'm just curious.
Because you have to balance your schedule.
You guys are selling this great by yelling at me. Fuck, you fucking listen.
I'm talking louder.
This is the 13th time you guys have told me on air. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about again.
Because every time I explain it as I'm talking, you're talking into the mic as I'm. Because I'm trying to make you hear me over the mic is what I'm doing.
Did you just call me a cunt?
Yeah, a little bit.
Did. All right.
But I mean, he's got point.
I just wanted you to say it for the listeners that are new, in case there's new people. I'm sure that never happens.
And then Andy Frisella has a. He's the one that designed it.
Oh, you missed a part. You also have to drink a gallon of water every day.
Yeah, you have to drink a gallon of water every day. I thought I hit that, but I probably got.
Maybe I just didn't hear it. I'm a cunt too.
Oh,
I might have got interrupted.
Holy shit! I thought we were doing a podcast, not a Jeff cast. Jesus Christ! I already know the answer. This was for the listeners. God damn it! I've listened to you talk about this goddamn 15 times in a row off the air. I can tell you about how to do. I know how he's going to do a 75 hard. I know where he's going. I know what he's going to eat.
So Jeff and I are excited about this.
I'm very stoked
Zach
about it.
is grudgingly and lovingly coming along for the ride.
I already quit.
Well, and what's interesting is I did the program, had a lot of changes in life, and it's just that time. It's like, okay, this helps me get reorganized. This helps me get refocused on some shit in your life. And one of the biggest things that I found with it is, and I think I might have talked about this a little bit on the last episode.
Did you mention no alcohol? Sorry.
Oh yeah, no alcohol. Yeah, thanks. Again, somebody help me out. I've sent the link specifically.
Do it real quick. What is it, real quick? Here's the bullet points. No alcohol, gallon of water. Read 10 pages a day
of something that teaches you something.
Something that teaches you something. Yeah. One 45-minute workout, inside or outside. Another one for sure outside.
Right. And a diet, sensible diet.
And a diet that you stick to.
Yeah, you do it for and your picture every day.
And the
progress picture every day.
Cool.
And you also have to send me a message and tell me how much you want to be in my cult. That's another. I added that one, but I think it's important.
That's 75.
It's for the sake of discipline.
If you
don't have enough discipline,
if you
don't really want it,
if you miss any one of those 7 things in any day, you have to start back at day 1.
Okay. And you're doing it for 75 consecutive days.
But it's 75 consecutive days.
Starting
the first.
Okay.
Yes.
So what's the day that we end, just for the...
75 days from the first.
Well, I wonder... Well,
January 75th.
It ends on the 75th.
Oh, I was hoping it was March 11th. All right. Well, fuck me running. I think now we're all tuned in and we're ready to go.
And people don't believe me. If you do it, you will see that things in your life will change for the positive.
And we've already got a 75 hard channel on Discord. We're gonna create, if we haven't done by this point, we're gonna create a messenger thread or
somebody.
Facebook
group. There's people that don't get on Discord. Messenger's just easier part of their life, and I don't know how to create a page like that and invite people. I'm not smart enough.
Yeah.
Somebody help me out. Create a 75 hard page on Messenger.
We have a super talented community of people that if that's something you guys want, just partner up with us and we'll. Yeah. I'd be more than happy to help.
Pretty pleased with Sugar on Top. Do that for me. I'll be in there every day.
How do you guys plan on? Okay, so that's part of it. How do you guys plan on communicating this? Because we're kind of doing this as a group. Are you guys gonna show your faces? Do some progress throughout.
I know Jeff will
video
do
or something.
I know Jeff will do this and more, but I'm gonna commit to doing like either I'll hop on to the Discord most likely because that's just my home base of operations.
And there's people that just work in there too, right? I mean, I don't see them on Facebook; they're more in Discord.
Yeah,
so
yeah, correct. It's just a matter of preference, like anything. But
and you don't have to be on Discord. You can do this at home.
I'm gonna do. I'm gonna either pop into the Discord for a little bit and at least like I don't know, maybe and for the love of God, don't feel obligated to share your progress pictures. That's not what this is about.
Yeah.
I might share a few of mine along the way if I am noticing a change. I'll be like, wow, look at this one compared to this one, guys, just as for the sake of encouragement. And I don't care.
I'm not showing shit till day 76.
You guys can look at me. I don't care. But I'm gonna try to do some little video updates too here and there and just post them and just be like, hey guys, what's up? This is what this sucks, or I'm feeling good, or
yeah, I decided so last time I did it, I went off Facebook for all 75 days. I just did it on my own. It was a personal preference for me. I wanted to make sure it was all about me. This time now, since I'm trying to promote people to do this because I want them to better their lives and understand how good it feels, I'm going to, on Facebook every day, do something for 75 hard and what I'm doing, mostly to show I'm not asking you to do something that I'm not willing to do myself. I'm doing this too because I understand the importance of it. So I'm gonna try it a little different this year.
Yeah, cool. I think it'll be cool to do it as a journey with everybody, and we can. I mean,
we should have a little party at the end. We should do a live stream thing with everybody that joined us.
That'd be cool.
And I
think that'd be awesome. So yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool if when we start, like on day one, anybody who wants to just come sound off at whatever your preference on either Discord or Facebook, and we could build. I mean, shit, it might be fun to build like a little roster and be like,
I would love to have a roster, know who else. A lot of people have reached out and asked me questions, but come day one, I want to know who's doing this. And I'm not going to shame you if you fall out or anything like that, man. This is your life, not mine. I'm just trying to help you. You can take out of this what you want. If it ends up not working out, you can always try it again.
Let me tell you, if you disappoint Jeff, you're going to feel it. It's not going to feel good.
I'm going to shame him mercilessly, personally. Jeff will be
Shaiden,
good.
if you shame Shaiden, it's fine.
Jeff is good cop. I'm bad cop in this scenario.
Slappity slaps. Slaps from both of these guys, that's for sure.
I want you to do good. I'm going to encourage you to do good. We're going to call it what it is. If you fail, then you fail. You have the option in life to restart if you need to.
Will you do me a favor?
Yeah.
We pick one person and encourage them to do bad. Just pick one random person, do the. No,
we
I can't do that.
purposely trained him wrong.
I'm kidding.
As a joke.
This was my joke for you. It's not funny, but I try. Fuck.
Cool.
Shit.
Well,
all right.
I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are excited. I know Jeff's excited. And I'm stoked. And
I quit. From the previous conversations, I'm done.
Zach's already had enough.
Too hard.
Zach's not ready yet, and that's okay. Zach will either find his time or he won't.
I'm disciplined enough in other ways, but I like cookies. Fuck them. No, I like it. I think I'm going to do it. I'm pretty sure I'm going to do it with you guys because fucking sounds fun.
So I'm telling you, it's a commitment. It is. But one of the biggest things that I found, I think I touched on this last show, is it forces you to have to be organized and be disciplined. As busy as you think your life is now, you start getting halfway through this and you're like, what was I doing with all my time? Because I'm able to do all this and I have so much free time. It really does change your life. And I will say that one of the bigger things may have been because I got off of Facebook during that. But it got me so structured in every aspect of my life that I just got shit done. And then I had time to, when I had time to sit down, I almost felt guilty about it. It's like, fuck, man, so I'd start a new project as well. So I got more accomplished in those 75 days than I probably did in 6 months prior to that.
That sounds super attractive to me.
I'm curious because this won't be the first stint of something akin to this that I've done. I haven't done this specific one, obviously, so I'm excited to try it, but I've done things like that in the past and carried a lot of it forward with me. Not always consistently, but the values that I took out of it have lingered. And I'm convinced as I sit before you now that I don't waste very much time at all. But I'll be interested to see how that changes through doing this. If I notice a big change.
And I believe that there'll probably be an energy boost too, just from feeling good. And
right.
A while of working out. Can I ask you guys? Yeah. So 45 minutes of the workout. One of the workouts is going to be probably cardio, right? Of some kind, like a walk or.
It's generally what I do. So I was carrying a backpack that I got up to 120 pounds.
Yeah, I remember that.
I was walking in the ice, sometimes in snowshoes, sometimes with spikes, with a 120-pound pack on my back. I do not expect you to do that.
It's like he was training for fucking fighting Dolph Lundgren, baby.
What did you put in it?
Weights. And I stuffed it with blankets and sleeping bags, and got it super tight, and got the weights to sit up higher. And I started out with 75 pounds, and then I got up to where I was adding 10 pounds a week. And once I got to once I got to 120, I think I was at 125. I stopped putting the weights on, looking like this is fucking ridiculous.
Yeah,
but I kept doing it.
Yeah, you did.
And but I don't expect people to do that.
Right.
It
sounds kind of.
You get to tailor this to where you're at.
So, but what are you doing? Like, what are you going to do for the 45-minute workout? What does that look like? I know it'll be different from day to day.
For the workout,
what's the average?
Well, if I go into the gym, I'm there longer, honestly. But I've got this thing that Paulie and I put together called the Gross Motherfucker. It's 12 sets of 12 different exercises that you had to do 12 reps each. So it was like a series of I'd start with jumping jacks, and then I'd go to push-ups, and then I'd go to
circuit
toe touch. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was not able to complete.
Those are hard.
12 rounds. It was. So my goal is to be able to do that in the 45 minutes this year.
Okay.
Which I wasn't able to do that last year, and I was in better shape then than I am now. So we'll see how it goes.
Well, so what would you recommend for somebody that's like, what would a workout look like for the 45? I mean, if one of them's just walking, that should be one, or cardio, kind of jogging, or jumping on a trampoline, or fucking
do you think,
jump roping.
Are you in a position to share that plan that you had your guy make up for you, the ABCs thing?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I can just kind of talk about it. I sent it to somebody. I think I sent it to Terry Meisner.
Yeah. I just didn't know. I know that was something you had him formulate for you.
Yeah. So what I did was what he did for me, and you can do this with any. So you take the alphabet and you just write it north to south, A to Z, and then you just add an exercise for each letter. Mm-hmm. And it, some of them are ridiculous on there, like 30 burpees.
Yeah.
And some of them are a little bit, or 10
hot take from
10 or
Shaiden,
15
burpees can go to
yeah hell. They suck, but they're one of the best exercises you can do. Some of them are different variations of jumping jacks, or push-ups, or different styles of push-ups, or different styles of jumps. You don't need any weights for it, which is really nice. So you spell out something like, I'm a bad motherfucker today, and then you do each letter. You go to each letter and you do that exercise.
That's fun.
Now that may not, but you got to go 45 minutes.
Curse words repeatedly.
Yeah, everyone has a curse. Everyone has a curse word in it, but you have to do it for 45 minutes. So you may make it through there. So add another word in there until you're at 45 minutes.
Sure. No, I'm saying I'm not making coherent sentences. My workout's going to be fuck, cunt, ass, piss.
You end up working out just your calf muscles somehow. You're like, damn it, dude, it's weird. Just calf.
I remember one of the vowels was like 30 squat thrusts or 30 burpees, and I'm like, I got to find a word that doesn't have too many of that letter.
I shouldn't have made this a vowel.
This one sucks. So Paulie and I are going to revamp the Dirty Motherfucker, and I'll get that out to people too. Honestly, what I put in it was some pretty advanced shit. It was too hard. I'm going to break one down a little bit easier for people to start with. It's just an idea for people to do.
Sure, yeah, you can do whatever you want.
I prefer to lift weights more than anything, but I'm trying to change some things about what I'm doing.
So 75 hard, you're not taking a single day off of lifting?
Nope.
Okay, so there's no recovery day for your muscles and stuff. So you're going to be sore pretty much until day 50 or so, right?
Yeah, depends on the person, really. Depends on your effort that you put in.
Being sore is good. It means you're building muscle and tearing down muscle and rebuilding.
Being sore and being hurt are two different.
Getting used to
two different things.
Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah.
My plan is to do. I'm gonna alternate days, and one day I'm gonna do like hard calisthenics for my 45-minute indoor deal. So essentially the thing or the system you were just talking about, or some variation of it. So and then every day my second workout, or maybe the first, I might flip-flop them during the day.
It really depends on your schedule, and you can flip them.
One day indoor calisthenics, and then outdoor, kind of like heart rate training shit like we were talking about, like alternating walking and jogging to try and maintain a certain heart rate for cardio. And then next day, instead of doing 45-minute calisthenics, I'm going to do 45-minute like power yoga, which is still kind of calisthenics, but it's also going to keep me limber enough to
if
where
you're
when
into
I'm
yoga,
doing the hard shit, and it's keeping me, from
if you're into
myself.
yoga, do yoga. Yoga is a goddamn workout.
Yeah, it is.
You just stand in one spot and sweat. It sucks. So that is all okay. It doesn't have to be this hardcore shit.
Yeah. Right.
This is tailor it to you. The one thing I recommend on the cardio side is find out what your 70% heart rate is, which is 220 minus your age. That's your max heart rate.
Okay.
And then you do 70, and so you take your max heart rate, find out what 70% of that is, and you can just ask your phone, it'll tell you. Write that down so you don't forget the number. And what you want to do is have a 45-minute cardio session at that heart rate, 70%. It's not that high, it's not that hard. That you are getting the maximum amount of fat burn and heart strengthening at 70%.
Wow.
If you do 40 jumping jacks, your heart rate will exceed that. I tested this theory.
Really? That's right. One of the things I do,
at least mine does.
One of my letters is 50 jumping jacks.
Yeah, I do jumping jacks. I do jumping jacks so often. I actually really like doing jumping jacks. And like gets your blood flowing. Yeah, so like you're getting a little bit of cardio. You're getting some calisthenic fucking muscle work, and it's so easy. Like I'll be sitting there working on my computer, and I'm just like, fuck, I'm so done with this. I'll just go in the living room and be like,
but look, you don't have to stay. I just recommend the 70% because that's most people want to lose weight, and most people want to strengthen their heart. There's some science behind the 70%. But hey, you want to break yourself off and just do sprints.
Right, you can do whatever you want.
Sprint pole to pole and do that for 45 minutes. What I mean by is light pole to light pole is kind of it's something I used to do. I would sprint to one light pole and then I'd walk to the next and sprint to the next one.
Like lines or something.
Yeah. So there's nothing wrong. Just do everything with an intent.
Yes.
And do it for 45 minutes.
I think what I'm going to do is...
And if you live where there's snow, be careful if you're running. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I own spikes. I wear them. They're great.
We're not responsible for anybody's contusions and or concussions if you're not responsible in the winter.
Try and wear some reflective gear, all that stuff. So, but you can also rotate upper body and core and upper body, and then do lower body and core another day and that kind of stuff. So you're not always working the same muscles. So they get some.
And you should. I would say.
Yeah, I would say so too. But we're not. Well, you guys know what to do. Fucking, you're on the internet. Don't listen to people.
We're not doctors. We're not responsible for adult behavior.
But I added in my push-up, sit-up challenge as well, just as an extra workout into it. I don't recommend that for people, but
that was really hard. That was hard for me to keep up with. But
we'll do that. We'll do that next.
That was fun. I want to try it again. I want to see if I can do 500 push-ups in it.
Yeah, it's a 5-week. It's a 5-week push-up and heel toucher is what I do because it's better on my back. That was a 5-week program where you start out at doing 100 a day of each, and then at 5 weeks you're doing 500 a day. So you end up doing 10,500 push-ups, 10,500 heel touchers.
Yeah,
and guess what? Makes a difference.
You feel like a badass if you're doing it for a week. You're like, dude, I've done a lot of push-ups this week. It's pretty cool.
Problem with push-ups for me is they fucking play havoc on my wrists. Like it's just because I have fucking shitty tendon problems in my wrists to begin with, so like doesn't matter. I've like studied how to do posture. I've tried knuckle push-ups. Everything is just like it just is hard on my wrist. I do it anyway, but I'm always just like fuck push-ups, man. Ow.
Yeah. We can just take your hands off of the wrists and get 175 or 75 hard is worth it, bro. Just fuck it.
The whole point of this is you don't have to break yourself off, but do it with intent.
Yeah.
And understand that you're doing this for you. You're not doing this for me. You're not doing this for Shaiden. You're not doing this for anybody but yourself. And that's okay. Value that and get something out of it.
But full disclosure, you're doing it a little bit for me.
I'll be very disappointed.
But I really do. I do really want to know when we start who is all in on this, because I want to be able to encourage you. I want to be able to cheer you on.
Yeah, we want some shout outs and progress updates. Feel like, day 3 in the bag, nailed it.
Yeah. I think we should suggest, as far as actually the progress pictures and stuff like that, I'm not showing mine until this is all done. You can see day 1, you can see day 75. I think everybody should do that. Let's at day 76, we'll flood that 75 hard
with your before and after.
With your before and after.
Okay.
So everybody can see the success. And that way I'll know who's in it. And then if your picture's in there, okay, you completed it. Good for you. That's awesome. And you don't have to out yourself if you failed.
Yeah, for sure.
And you also don't have to post your workout pictures if it makes you super uncomfortable.
Yeah, and if you're uncomfortable with that's fine too.
Please don't feel bad. This is all just low pressure, every bit of it. This is so good. Like reading a little bit, drinking water, I love it. This is valuable stuff. And walking counts. Like grab your partner, hold their hand and walk at a brisk pace so your heartbeat gets up there for 45 minutes. That's fucking tight.
Yep.
That's one of them.
Cool. Well,
that's
awesome. I'm excited. Let's wrap this episode up, boys. It's
fucking thank you to all the folks. You guys know who you are. Trusted Turd Triad, all that stuff.
Hell yeah.
JustARidePod@gmail.com. And
that's
we've got
where you can get a hold of us, because it's Just a Ride Pod.
That's where it is.
We have merch. We have a Patreon, of which we have many splendid members, to which we are very thankful.
And we didn't get to read your names this time. We'll read the new ones next week.
No.
Other than that, you guys genuinely have a happy new year. I hope life starts fantastic for you in the new year, if it hasn't been that way before that.
Yeah. So let's hope 2023 is just whatever your year.
And make a quality toast for New Year's, because that's your last drop for 75 minutes.
You better make it at 11:59.
All right. Well, as always, we'll talk at you in the future.
It'll seem like the present.
Bye.
See ya.
It's just a ride. Whoa, it's just a ride.
Bing.
Bong.
Ooh, that one had rhythm till it fell apart.